Tankers, Captain Taito here for another episode of Watch Monthly. This May you can farm credits in Frontline, embrace the competitiveness of Onslaught, or simply check out the rewards you can pick up along the way. Let's get into things, shall we? Kicking things off, Onslaught season of the Jade Dragon is in full swing, running until the end of the month. If you're playing Onslaught, now is your time to push. This year's annual reward, the Ashbringer, is on the line, alongside progression rewards and the Bond Shop, with better discounts as your rank increases. Expect tough competition as you move up the ranks. The AMD OLS Season 6 is well underway, so tune in and check out the action on our official Twitch channel. Date shown here. And yes, there'll be OLS tokens for tuning in. All this builds towards the finals on May 30th and 31st. If you're planning to watch anything this month, make it the finals weekend. Be sure to spend those OLS tokens before June 8th, by the way. You don't want to lose them. Can't wait for the finals? The Onslaught Mega Platoon returns later this month, with the Killzone leading a team of 6 other content creators into battle. If you're up for the challenge, you can jump in and face them, or form a team of your own and try and take them down. Otherwise, tune in, enjoy the show, and earn some drops. Frontline returns from May 4th. If you need credits, this is your best opportunity this month. Load up your tier 8s and jump into large-scale battles where consistent performance pays off. And if you know of any friends who haven't played in 60 days or more, make sure they log in and claim their bonuses before May 7th. May brings the anniversary of Victory Day in Europe. You'll see special missions, discounts, and themed bundles. And importantly, there are credit discounts on researchable and collectible vehicles. The event is a good opportunity to pick up rewards while we take a moment to reflect upon the historical significance behind it. Starting May 15th, each weekend brings happy hours during prime time for the rest of the month, with missions for extra credits and experience. This month's Boosteroid content comes with a boxing theme, including a unique commander and themed customizations. There's also an updated tank roster for 6-month subscribers, so it's a good opportunity to step into the ring and check out what's new. And for something a little different, we couldn't bring a real mouse to the office, but First Legion have created 300 of these 1/30th scale mouse boost and shift models, just the right size for your desk. So what's your plan for the month? Frontline for credits? Or Onslaught for competition? Tanks are watching, but for now, I'll be seeing you on the battlefield.
The final Onslaught season and the annual cycle will launch with some exciting new features. Now, during the countdown, each team can vote to ban one vehicle, which will become unavailable for all players on both teams. This gives you a chance to exclude the most dangerous enemy vehicle for you and its copies, or propose to ban the least useful vehicle from your own team. If your vehicle ends up banned, you'll have enough time to choose another one. You can learn all the details about this feature in the Portal article. The airfield map has been fine-tuned to better suit the 7v7 format. Erlenberg and Safe Haven have also been adjusted a little. The Dravettes, Caro 45T, and Ares 90 have joined the list of vehicles available in Onslaught. The roll skill of the latter has been modified to support its unique firing mechanic. Available for free rental this season are the Object 140, Foch B, and T57 Heavy. The now rentable vehicles come with consumables, equipment, shells, and 4 perk crews. Only the shells and consumables can be changed. In addition, the 114 SP2 is now available for purchase starting from the Silver League, not the Gold. Remember that this launch concludes the Year of the Dragon. This is your chance to get the super rare Ashbringer. Hello, Commanders! With Update 2.2.1, the World of Tanks Plus subscription will include an exclusive Tier 9 premium tank with a unique historical 2D style. As before, World of Tanks Plus will have 2 tiers, the basic core tier and the expanded Pro one with special bonuses and improvements. World of Tanks Plus Core is the regular subscription that keeps all the best stuff, permanent account progression bonuses, pre-battle preparation tools, and an exclusive package for comfortable play, including the premium TS-54 tank. World of Tanks Plus Pro will suit the most active players and unlock all new opportunities for them. One of the subscription's main features is Pro Boost. With this bonus, your vehicle will get you 35% more credits and XP for every battle. Play your favorite tank and enjoy the game without worrying about going into the red. Simply activate Pro Boost in the garage for any researchable or collector's vehicle from Tier 1 through 10. And if you want to change tack, you can switch the bonus to a different vehicle once every 12 hours. World of Tanks Plus Pro subscribers will be able to customize their service record. The new service record customization system will let you highlight your stats and rating with exclusive designs and transform the screen to your liking. Your individuality and combat achievements will be appreciated by everyone who views your profile. Another key feature is Battle Pass Plus. With it, Battle Pass progression will be faster. You'll get extra points for battles depending on the game mode. The bonus activates when the Battle Pass season starts and remains valid until it ends. It also applies to the Elite Circuit. Good news for keen players who finish the chapters fast. With the update release, both tiers will receive a shared bonus in the form of a new exclusive Tier 9 Premium Medium tank. It will be available in every subscription option. Born under the scorching Spanish sun, the Leox combines the chassis of the Leopard 1 and the turret of the AMX-30E. The Leox is a sniper tank for second-line play. The accuracy and rate of fire will let you methodically pick apart targets at range. While high mobility will help you escape fire and reposition in time. In addition to the tank, both tiers will include a shared, unique, historical 2D style, which will remain on your account even after the subscription ends. Core offers the familiar classic format, while Pro is designed for those who strive for maximum efficiency in every battle. Unlock your full potential with World of Tanks Plus.
Heart of a lion, will of a champion. Ain't even trying, just get them amped up. If you got a problem, I'm the answer. Stand up, everybody hands up. I'm unstoppable. I ain't gonna stop till I come on. Yeah, I'm unstoppable. All I do is win, yeah, I'm
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Hello gamers and welcome to the AMD Onslaught Legends Series Season 6 banter. We've had Playday 1 into Playday 2.
Yeah, it's a pretty good day yesterday. We saw some, Mafia using the ban system to their advantage and beating it, and beating W, and yeah, a few other really nice games, and I'm excited to see what we see today.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what today brings. The Mafia just absolutely dominating, right? So here's the schedule again, guys, just to make sure everybody understands. The Phase 1 will go until the 12th of May. After that, we will have you coming back at the 19th of May, and that it will be for Phase 2. The schedule remains the same for every single one of those Tuesday, Thursday streams. Will be starting at today's time, so 6 CEST, if I'm not mistaken, well, European time. And then on Sunday, we'll be starting at 4, so 2 hours earlier than today. So do note that into your calendar, that you know exactly when those streams will be happening, and that you do not have to miss out on any of the token drops that will be associated with that. The price pool currently just shy of 45k. Of course, you guys at home can make the difference in that one by participating, by getting one of the bundles available in the premium store that will directly and 100% support the OLS and the teams participating in it. The base, the advanced, the trio, but of course the Oracle bundle, or the bundle that Keyhand will never buy because he will never get another prediction right. That is the one that you will get an upgraded style and badge if you do end up purchasing the bundle of the team that does end up winning the entirety of OLS. There's still quite a bit to go for that, which I understand you're not quite too sure about which team you want to go for, but do not worry, the Oracle bundle will still be available for a little while longer, till basically the playoffs begins. So no worries on that one. You can still watch the games and then see what team will be coming out on top. Of course, not just that, we have the tokens. Mentioned it earlier already. 5 tokens today, 5 tokens on Sunday, 5 tokens every single day. It's pretty straightforward, pretty consistent in that regard. That way you know exactly how many tokens you can get, and how many tokens you need for the E75 TS is a different question. I think it was it 75, 65? I think something along those lines. But it's not just
75.
Yeah, I thought so too. But it's not just the E75 TS you can get. There's plenty of other goodies available in the store as well. The Scorpion and the SU, if you do not end up going for that main reward. Of course, styles, premium days, consumables, expirable reserves, anything you could really think of is available, and you can get for your account. So that's about it. That's what you can get, guys, in the stream available today. Now heading back towards our standings. Of course, since we've only had one play day, you know, there's not that much separation yet between the teams. That is for a later stage, of course, but currently it's Cashback leading. But you know, Weekend Mafia, they have the same score difference as well. Hit and Run has 2 because they did end up going tiebreaker against CTR.
Yeah, I mean, some interesting things. Weekend, they actually got a point this season, so they now have more points than they got in the entirety of last season, which is impressive. W getting schooled by Mafia yesterday, so they're one of the big 4 teams that didn't win. And we got CTR as well, taking a point from Hit and Run. And again, these, you know, we have 8 teams, but the top 4 are kind of nailed on. We see them, you know, Hit and Run, Cashback, Mafia, and W. If any of these weaker teams can take points from the big boys, it can make a big difference later on.
Yeah, of course. The points you take in the beginning of the season tend to really matter towards the end, even though we're like, oh, it's only the first match. They actually end up mattering quite a bit. Hit versus Cashback, starting it off with an absolute banger. And then Sicario versus Lotus, a match where both teams have potential, I would say.
Yeah, but both teams definitely have some potential there. I mean, we saw some nice things from Sicarios the other day, so they didn't take a point from cashback, but the games were reasonably close.
Yeah, for sure. But for hit and run, this is a, after their match against CTR, you would have a little bit less faith for them against cashback, right?
Yeah, a little bit less faith, but I think it's still going to be. It's still, it's one of those fights at the bottom, right? So, sorry, are you talking about Sicarios Lotus, or are you talking about cashback hit?
Cashback hit.
Cashback hit. Sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us. Yeah, hit and run. They kind of. I think CTR did perform well against them yesterday on Runeberg, but I think all of us went for cashback apart from Keyhand, which is obviously a little bit telling. But I think hit and run. They Piotr left or whatever happened there. Barbarian left as well. So now it's difficult to say how hit are going to perform. Barbarian, you can see here, he moved back over to cashback, and he's a well-known and well-respected FC in the Onslaught circle. So we need to see a bit more of hit, I think, before I can commit to a prediction where they win. I need to see a little bit better than what we saw yesterday against CTR.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Especially it's a little grudge match here, I would say, because I don't think that, at least from what I've noticed, since Barbarian and Monster weren't talking to each other in the random Onslaught queue, and Barbarian was like trying to get him to talk. I feel like the marriage ended with a pretty tough divorce, right?
Yeah, but Barbarian, he's played in Motivatia. He went to Inville, he went back to Motivatia. I don't think that this is a permanent rift. I think the rift between Piotr and them is a little bit more permanent. I think.
Sure, but it adds a little bit of spice.
Very, very true, but I feel Inville see Barbarian a bit more of a mercenary, and I think 7v7 is a bit more personal than 15v15.
Yeah,
so,
this definitely is. So, community predictions: 62% in favor of cashback, 38% for hit and run. I'd say that's relatively fair, to be honest. I can find myself in that.
Yeah, I mean, me and you, we both went for cashback to win this. I think, again, we need to see more from hit and run. The performance yesterday was not as good as it could have been, dropping points to one of the lower 4 teams, and the fact that cashback performed very well against Sicarios yesterday. So, and hit obviously losing that FC, as you mentioned, like Barbarian leaving, Botsic coming in. Botsic might be a very good player, but he's not an FC. He's not a leader in the battle, right? He's more of just a player, which means either Ketsai or Monster's going to need to take the reins and go back to tactics making and doing the in-game calls. So you can definitely give it a little bit of an edge to cashback.
Maps. Pilsen. It's going to be first, and then Runeberg second, setting us up for kind of a slow game in a way.
Yeah, I've seen last season we saw a lot of Pilsen. This season it's going to be the same. The Polish teams, they seem to absolutely love it. Runeberg, maybe they watched Hit and Run's performance yesterday against CTR. They got 2-0'd on Runeberg. So maybe they're thinking that Hit and Run are not so experienced on it, and they might be able to use it to their advantage. Ghost Town's the final map. Not really sure who I'd give it to. I think if it goes to tiebreaker, I think it's going to be more of a 50-50. But I still feel like this might be like a 3-1 to cashback. We'll need to see.
We will indeed need to see what comes out of this one. Starting it off on Pilsen, of course. Saying that Pilsen is a bit longer these days, it's come down to also like that mini strike, right? We'll see how much it plays into this, but the fact that the CS63 starts off with a level 1 strike, even though Rishek missed his decap when we watched it, it's a very powerful tool to have.
Yeah, to decap the big strikes as well, decap the info points, to try and force your opponent, because it wastes a lot of time, right? But I have been thinking as well, I feel like we're going to see more K91s.
Yeah, for sure. But if the CS is banned, the K91,
yeah.
Or even if it's not banned, the K91 has been on the up and come because of the strike as well.
Yeah. But also that DPM is out. I know it's such an awkward tank with that rear turret.
I absolutely hate it.
I hate everything with a rear turret except 705, to be fair. But it has so much DPM, it can really go ahead. Yeah, looking at the predictions here, you went with Keyhand. Oh God, what have you done? I went tiebreaker. Phil went the other way. So it's a big opportunity for Phil to pull ahead, because at the moment the score is me and Phil have 5, Ian and you with 4, and Keyhand is somewhere in the negatives. But We don't need to talk about that.
I try to not look at Kihan's predictions. It's just a bad.
You just close your eyes.
Yeah, it's like a bad mojo. You know, I try to just avoid it. I don't know. I just feel like Cashback. You know, they're reunited, honeymoon period. Barbarian's back. Iset's back. Grudge for Barbarian. I think this is a little personal in that regard. Early in the season, wants to prove he made the right choice, switching teams, and I think that will all play in their favor.
I mean, if it helps, Monster doesn't say hello to me on Onslaught either, so. But yeah, I was debating 3-2, 3-1. I think your prediction is completely fair. Like, I was really, it was kind of a coin flip to me. I think Cashback are going to take it. I'm just not sure what the score is. And then again, you know, sometimes being the underdog can be an advantage, and that is beautiful right there. That's actually quite glorious.
That is indeed beautiful. And the bands coming out as well. It looks actually fantastic, huh?
Yeah, it does look for that purple glow, the background. This is fantastic. They did a really good job.
Yeah, and even the equipment being shown. Jesus, I wasn't ready for this, you know?
No, was it? It's interesting, though, the Grousers pick. Not a fan of that. I still feel the vents, especially on this map, where it's like basically completely flat, no big terrain issues, you know, no swamp or anything like that. Apart from that, the rest is just normal.
Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary, right? Because of the bands as well. It's the Type 5 and the Forge B, so you do see the CS on both sides. You do see the RHM for hit and run, so pretty normal in that regard. But the amount of 50Bs, you know, the triple 50B is still, it's a very powerful tool.
Yeah, it's an interesting difference in the meta to what we saw yesterday on Pilsen between Cashback and Sicarios. Here we're seeing it's a lot more mobile, a lot of Dravix, 50Bs, 430s. Ketsai, he gets decapped by that small strike. We said it, so no map-wide info for hit and run. Ketsai might try and take it again. He does. He gets spotted, though, but decides to, well, opts to leave that one. But triple cap going on in the meantime.
With triple 50B on the cap, now pushing off, trying to dodge the strike. They are not able to do that, but it's still only 28 seconds. There will have to be a reaction here from hit and run. T-Sec is not closing the distance too much because Aka is spotted out. So T-Sec playing it smart, playing it safe, just getting a shot on the crossing. And Panzer Fury seems to be the one that is in trouble. That's a lot of 50Bs coming his way. Liberty peeking out, Little, Aka coming from behind. They want to delete this. Dravats, they are going to be able to do it as well. Aka picks it up, and in the meantime, DJ in trouble in the field as well. Of course, you got to remember, no light tank for Cashback, just 7 straight shooters, which means that in this kind of battle, Ketsai so far not very impactful, not able to put his stamp on the game just yet. And DJ with that Dravats caught out is going to die as well. 2 tanks down for the side of hit and run. These 50Bs, they just explode in a quick moment of aggression, and they take a massive advantage.
Yeah, big advantage using these 50Bs masterfully to make those 2 kills. Field control secured, the light tank, you know, in an open game where you can roam, it's good, but now the hit runner kind of crushed into this corner, and the RHM can't really do much. And now there's this like little lull period where all these 50Bs are going to reload, and once they're off reload, this flanking force by Squeezy and Barbarian, 50Bs from the front, those mediums from the back, it's going to crush hit and run. 1 tank disadvantage, 5k disadvantage. This is all but done unless there's a miracle.
Yeah, I don't really see a way back in. The strike is lost as well in the middle. There's a light tank with basically most of the HP outside of Monster. There's no way back in. Cashback just exploiting that light to absolute perfection with their initial strategy, right? With those 50Bs quick onto the cap, and then they find something to push on.
Yeah, the 1v1, like you said, the rivalry, Monster versus Barbarian here. They're going for this 2v1. It might be the only opportunity, but they might take a 50B clip in the back here. There have been unlucky Ketsai opts to take the hits, which I think is the right option. The light tank, we say how powerful it is in late game scenarios, but when you're this close range, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But this is painful. The amount they bleed for this is horrific. And in the meantime, Akka pushes onto Tizek, makes the kill, and hit and run still. 2,000 HP left, 3 tanks left. It's all over.
It's indeed all over. Barbarian striking Monster. It's only 100 damage. Gets the kill though. It's Franak and Ketsabe. This first run here for Cashback, absolutely brilliant. They pick it up. They pick it up quick. They're going to be very happy about that one. Good job to them. You know, good initial strategy. Hit and run, not ready to receive this.
Yeah, that's the thing I love about Onslaught. The fact that the meta can change so quickly. Because this is a completely different meta to what we saw yesterday. Yesterday was a lot more like last season, and today this is much more of a... With the bans, because obviously if Type gets banned, it means, and there's a high chance that Type 5 gets banned, it means that these teams are shifting over to a much more mobile meta with Dravix. I don't think that's going to stay for a long time, because I feel like the bans are going to catch up, and at some point one team's going to ban the Dravik, but this was super nice by Cashback. You know, I'll always say, I think 50B, apart from EBR, is probably the highest skill requirement tank in the game, and if you use them in perfect sync, like Cashback did here, it's really such a strong beast of a machine.
Yeah, you know, but this buffed alpha, of course, the ability coming back in, it's just a very, you know, it's just a small but impact. Like all of the buffs, they were small but impactful enough to make a difference, right? Enough to make it from not that great to like, honestly, you know what? Yeah, sure, pushed it over the boundary, and you can see that now resulting into this as well. Really, really good stuff from them. Damage dealt, I mean, the Fury was the first one to get pushed on, and DJ the second one, and that translates as well into this post-battle result.
Yeah, it was a really difficult game for Hit and Run. I don't think they expected this kind of 50B aggression, and Draviks don't perform that well against 50Bs on general flat terrain with corners. Like, Dravik wants to be at arm's length on hold down, and there's just not enough of those positions on Pilsen. So yeah, Cashback really exploiting Hit and Run's lineup, and Hit and Run are going to need to rethink what they want to do here. I think, obviously, the nice thing about Onslaught, right? Like I said, it changes week by week. You see a meta difference. You see different tanks being taken, and that means teams have to react and change their strategies and change their playstyle. So Hit and Run need to wake up and make a change. Find a way to counter these 50Bs. 4005, maybe.
I mean, you know, with the 1700.
Yeah, it does 2 shots of 50B. I've played 4005 quite a lot in Onslaught, actually. It's very enjoyable.
In bronze?
What do you mean in bronze?
Where are you?
Excuse me? I am in champion.
Really?
I am. Yeah, I paid someone to do it, but it's all fun.
Second battle, however, bans AMX Fush B in the EBR. So we're going to get a pretty standard battle outside of that. Type 5 is available as well. You can see Hit and Run, pick one of those. In return, Cashback switching to the T57 for to the U lineup. That's an aggressive one.
Yeah, even though with this 50B buff, I do think there's definitely still a place for T57. Little opting for the Grousers instead of the Vents. So yeah, it's a decent lineup by both these sides. No light tanks on either team. So I think we're gonna be in for more of a measured game here, at least by Hit and Run. Cashback, it doesn't look like they're putting the brakes on.
There's also no play in this time from Hit and Run, right? So like, well, the plane has advantages and disadvantages. This time around, they will not get the info.
Yeah, no info. Cashback opening very split. I think it's more telling what Cashback do than what Hit and Run do. But Hit and Run are boosting double BZ into this middle strike. Very risky, especially in the current meta of tanks with strikes in the beginning. But one hit received, Barbarian did have ability active, and that was a full ability, so only 490 damage taken. 2 people to take this strike is a bold one, especially when you saw Cashback play this high 50B aggression in the previous round.
Hit and Run are starting to move in the city, though, with their own 430Us and their 50B as well, starting to push up. In the meantime, Cashback has taken over the east, and I think they realize this now as well. T-Sec getting a shot from Liberty. Mindbreaker looking for that as well, finding another. Now the game is starting to be revealed here for Cashback, but Little and Squeezy about to run into these 430Us. Little spots Panther Fury out in the open. Do they have the burst to pick him up? I don't think so. He's using
the truck.
He's using Little Truck to go safe, but in return, they do find a 430U, but this is actually pretty good for Hit and Run. They find Squeezy, they find Little, they're gonna pick up both of these. They were not expecting this whatsoever, and Cashback will need to react one way or another if they want to save this game, because Barbarian, in the meantime, dropped pretty low as well.
Yeah, super high IQ by Panzer Fury. The T-57s, they have heat rounds and they can't go through fences and other destructible objects. So Panzer Fury, he hid behind a little truck so they couldn't unload into him. And that's 2 T-57s taken down for 1 BZ-75. A completely worthwhile trade. Barbarian falls in the meantime. HP is not that bad, but position-wise, Hit and Run are so far ahead. Akka's being pressured by this Type. And yeah, the Type's taking a lot of damage, but it's the tank you want because now the 430s come in. Panzer Fury Monster. Those are the funny button tanks that are going to absolutely eliminate Akka here. He gets completely deleted there. Panzer Fury picking up the kill. But Brain Breaker's the next one. And as the dust kind of settles, HP, it's not super bad, but the gun in the game is just the factor that means that Cashback are going to go completely down in this round. Fantastic play by Hit and Run.
Yeah, they run into the double T-57. Panzer Fury uses a little bit of a hut to his advantage, which is also fantastic, right? Of course, those huts, they will...
I used the truck. It was like a sideways truck. Yeah, it was really good, actually.
Yeah, it protects you against heat. And because of that, you know, he's able to survive. Maybe they would have blown him up otherwise. And they end up winning this round pretty convincingly even. And that's good. 1-1 coming out of Pilsen.
Yeah, I mean, I counted shots. I think it was a little shot 1 into the middle. Then he shot 1 at Panzer Fury, but it bounced. So they would have had... 6 shots between them, and that wasn't enough to eliminate 1-4-30. And even if they eliminate 1-4-30, both those T-57s would still die with fully
like,
ability.
It's something. Buttons. It's something, right? If you kill it, it's something. But in this case, you know, none of them really take too much damage. 1-1, okay, respectable result coming out of this Pilsen. Now
I mean, it was kind of like a direct counter though. Like,
yeah. I mean, both teams are playing kind of around each other, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. The BZs in the middle, they get pressured by the 430s and the coal piles, but they boosted off, so they only lost 1. And the triple 430 going for these T-57s. It was kind of a... Yeah, one team goes one side, one team goes another, and Hit and Run just found the better engagement.
Now moving into Rurenberg.
1-1, you're on for your prediction.
Everybody's on for their prediction. Well, you understand this point in time?
Yeah, but you still need 1. If it's 3-0 by Cashback, then it's, yeah. Damage is respectable, though. Everyone kind of getting the expected amount, except Tizek, but obviously he got blown up. It is nice, though. You can really see it when you watch the typically lower seeded teams, right? The Lotuses, the Sicarios. You can see a difference in the accuracy in the pen rates. So it is nice to see like nearly 90% on both of these teams.
Yeah, the shooting in general very good, but it was a lot of close range fighting, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But still, I mean, have we seen anything in these 2 rounds that makes you think more about your prediction?
Not particularly, to be honest.
I'm agreeing with you. I think Hit and Run got a bit of a lucky engagement. That they made the push and they managed to find these T-57s in a poor position.
I think if there was only 1 T-57 there, right? If there was only 1 tank there, Hit and Run would have been in trouble. But the fact that there was 2 gave them such an advantage that they were able to roll with it, if that makes sense. If there's only 1 there, I think that Cashback takes over the rest of the map and has a real chance and opportunity to win this round.
Yeah, but autoloaders, they kind of... You know, we've seen so often, autoloaders, they like to stay in pairs, right? Because they can shield each other, they have enough clip to, in theory, take out a tank. So many times in competitive, we see 2 250Bs or 2 T-57s together. But obviously they didn't know, and it is a bit of an assumption, but because there's no lights, there's no info tower, so it's a bit of a blind play, but it worked out beautifully. And the fact that even after that, the tank taking most of the damage was Deca in that Type 5. Means that the 430s could just clean up in the late game. It was a well-played game, you have to say it. I still think I'm still debating about my prediction. I still feel like it still might be a 3-1. So I feel like your prediction might be right. I didn't see anything yesterday on Rurenberg by Hit against CTR that told me anything otherwise.
Yeah, second round here on Rurenberg. E4 band and Fushby band. That leaves us with a lot of Type 5s usually, right? And there's a difference in styles here, I would say. The teams have switched, FY. So it's going to be Cashback playing the Type 5 lineup versus the 57s. Yeah.
What's the heat pen on T-57? Is 350?
340.
Oh, is it 340? Okay. That's still, I mean, it's not high enough to auto aim on types, but it still should shred them pretty well. As long as the shots are well aimed, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. But still, it's really hard to dig through that amount of HP, because look how much difference there is from the start, you know?
Yeah, it's 4,000 plus for cashback or there and around. And that's a big HP pool to chew through. And if these T-57s get caught on reload or in a bad position, it can be a big issue. Bliskavitz is an interesting choice. I don't think we've seen a Blisker on this map for a while. Typically used on other ones, but it does have some of the highest DPM in the game. If it's shooting on close range and hit and run, then they're not backing down. Then they're going to find a good engagement here if they keep going.
They will indeed find one on Barbarian and Little. They're going to keep going, but now the other tanks are coming. The E100, the 50B. Little starting to get focused out. The hit and run is swarming, trying to run over Little. They will do it as well. They find another engagement that suits them, but now the 57 is starting to be on reload, but Barbarian is taking a lot of damage, might even die before that hit and run. Finding success, Barbarian even bouncing. The second kill goes towards hit and run as well, and hit and run looking mighty strong right now. The 140 getting spotted out in the north gives him an opportunity to go straight back on towards that E100. Aphrodite trying to roll back, but the 57's rolling in, and they want to roll over even on towards his position. They have that advantage, that 2-tank advantage, and of course they have this burst that they're about to show Aphrodite. He goes down in just a second, and Aka might be in a type 5, but he will fall just the same, just as quick as other tanks. The bigger they are, they still fall all the same. He does find a kill, but DJ retaliates, and it's gotta be hit and run to make it 2-1.
Yeah, so now only me and Phil have got the potential for a right prediction, but super nice by hit and run. I mean, it's a gamble, right? It could be Cashback's entire team there, and if Cashback have 7 type 5s in that square, that's not going as well as it was here. But the fact that they were able to make these isolations on Barbarian and Little, or was it Barbarian and Akka maybe, it just means that they just get 2 tanks almost for free. And it's kind of a repeat of the previous game. Hit and run are making a decisive play that's, we can call it blind, right? They don't have the info that there could have been 7 types there, but the fact that there's only 2 means that they get the prime engagement to win the match.
For sure.
Or win the game, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're now at match point. They have a real opportunity to close it out, even on the second round of Ruinberg. And if they do that, they will be winning this match against most of our predictions outside of Phil.
Yeah, that's a concern. Phil is good with the predictions, and he's not loud as well. If he was good and loud, I wouldn't mind. The fact that he's good and quiet is quite a concern. But yeah, looking at the damage, you can see that Bliskavitz, such high DPM, 5,800 damage, blocked a couple, or blocked 1 type shot. Everyone on the hit and run side doing at least 2k damage. It's nice, it's consistent. You see Barbarian Little, they just got caught in a bad position, and there's nothing they can really do, you know? If you just get caught on opener like that, it's one of those things in World of Tanks where you can't make a strategy that counters everything. If hit and run just sends 7 tanks at 2 of yours, there's nothing you can do. It's just bad luck, really.
Yeah, indeed. And they find another good engagement for them. If they do this one more time, it's going to be a 3-1 win for hit and run. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, it is. I mean, hit and run showing that, yeah, you can pick the map that we lost on yesterday, but we're coming back, and we're coming back with a bang. And this is nice, though, because, you know, we all kind of doubted hit and run a little, and they're proving the doubters wrong. And that's what you want to see. You know, if people are starting to question if you've got what it takes, losing Piotr, losing Barbarian, people start to question things. You got to hit back with force, and a 2-1 scoreline. It's not done, but at minimum, it's a point.
That's true. Point secured for hit and run. They did lose 1 against CTR, so getting that point out here on the board at least means that they are at 3. So even if they were to lose this game, it's like, okay, you know, at least we got a full match win, basically, in terms of points. So that's true. It helps in that regard. But, you know, it's a best of 5. Many things can happen, right? It's hard to predict these in a lot of cases, just how it will go, because they're so fast.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, the fact that they dropped points yesterday against CTR means the full 3 points here would be generally very important for their placement. Because when you're when you're the higher seeded team, right? Hit and Run are in the top, one of the big four in World of Tanks OLS competitive. So they're happy to drop points against the good teams, but they need to be picking up the full 3 against the lower seeded teams. So a full 3 points here would be massive for them.
I agree entirely. It would indeed be very, very massive for them if they could do it. On this second round of Runeberg, yeah, it does seem to be still a lot of switching. It's out. Unlucky. 4 Type 5s, 2 E4s, and a 140, 50B, and 57 band.
Yeah, I think that's actually Hit and Run that banned the 57. I expected it to be a bit of cashback PTSD. But yeah, E4 being taken, double for the Hit and Run side. I always like looking at equipment, you know. What do you think about IRM and like Grousers on stuff like Foshby? I still feel Vents are better, especially with the modifiers.
No, IRM helps with the turning, especially when you're going towards a corner as well.
Does that do traverse speed?
It has an effect, yeah. It's
okay.
It's but on Fush B, I think you can play both. But just because you need to swing around a corner, you need to keep up with tanks trying to circle you. Even for randoms, both work, to be honest.
Not a Fosh B main, so it's a big decision here by Kaspak though. Double 430U committing in. The rest of their tanks are a bit out of game, but Hit and Run, they have quite a slow lineup in this one. Double type, double E4. Well, not even double type, but quad type actually, double E4 and Frantic in that 140. So it's kind of a mirror of the previous round, where it was Cashback taking that super heavy lineup, but now it's Hit and Run.
Cashback takes the first strike of the game. That's on Mindbreaker. Hit and Run is not able to take this secondary strike in this city. They gotta be very careful even how they approach. Monster does get spotted out. And what can they really do? Because they're losing both strikes. And of course, in a game of Rurenberg, and it's really early to mention this, at the end of the day, the final requirement is damage dealt if you do not have a kill advantage. And with 2 strikes, you can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a draw on Himmels just yet, but it is probably the slowest map in the Onslaught lineup, just because of the entire map is split into lanes. So every time you want to cross a lane, you're risking taking damage. So obviously nobody wants to peek, nobody wants to spot. But Deck and Tizek now pressuring Mindbreaker and Squeezy. They're trying to pressure them from both sides, but Liberty is going to be there to clip out on these E4s. Ketsai Bob's ability doesn't take that much damage on the crossing. I'm really surprised by that. Tizek seems to be taking most of the punishment.
Tizek is actually taking all of the punishment. Minus 3k on that one. They will find Squeezy by the looks of things. Deja is even pushing in towards that to make sure that he gets the kill. It's Franek actually to finish it off, and now Mindbreaker's still alive. But who's really going to kill this? It has to be Franek and Deja. That 430U side hugging, trying to make it very, very difficult. And Cashback in return, trying to push over the city, trying to find something happening, because in HP, they're not winning. Deja may go down, but that's a type 5 for the DPM tank of the 430Us, who are both down and out. Mindbreaker and Squeezy are dead, and they are the damage dealers on that Cashback side. Of course, the Fush Bs count as well, but a little harder to engage with. Barbarian is going to try and show us how to do it, though. Peeks out against Monster, pops the ability, starts clipping out against that type 5. We gotta be careful because Panzer Fury is about to peek him as well from a different angle. He's in the healing part of the ability. Fury does not get the shot. Liberty's now the second one, and the Fush Bs, they sting. They're annoying, but they don't really have the sustain either for this kind of a fight. It's Hit and Run with the HP lead. Monster might fall against Liberty. He does, but now the Fush Bs are out of steam, out of game, and they need to survive.
Yeah, Fosh B can be a fantastic tank if you catch something, but you saw this engagement was so awkward. The long reload meant they couldn't pounce on someone, and then these tight corners just meant it was a very awkward game for these Foshes. Liberty's trying to run past, but he's running right into DJ. He gets eliminated. Ketsai facing off against Aphrodite. We'll need to see if even with ability pop, no ability runs out, so Ketsai should be able to finish this if he penetrates it and go right through the gun mantlet. He does. Little nice trick. If you shoot the left of the E4 gun mantlet, you can go straight through, and triple kill coming in and Hit and Run. 3-1 scoreline, proving everyone wrong.
Yeah, unexpected. Really, really unexpected, but big congratulations to them. It's a big win. It will help them as well on the position on the leaderboard. Clean 3 points with a 3-1. Proving us all wrong, I guess, that, you know, they are still a team to be feared. They take down this new and improved Cashback. Well, maybe not that new, but could say improved. And yeah, Cashback has a lot to think about, because this was not the greatest of matches for them. Round 1 was great. Maybe round 2 was unlucky, but the Runebergs, well, they were all hit and run.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the first one, I'd say Hit and Run got a bit lucky. They made an aggressive play and they managed to catch them. But Hit and Run had a perfect engagement here. They took these heavy tanks, and you want these heavy tanks in a slow game. And that's what Hit and Run did. They were allowed to dictate the tempo, and they were able to pounce on the isolated tanks of Squeezy and Mindbreaker, and the Foshes just didn't have the impact that they could have. I mean, yeah, the damage looks really good, but they were very awkward. They're shooting on long range against the types. There's no guarantee they're going to pen everything. Then they've got that super long reload where they have to push onto more types, and that's just difficult for these Foshes, because what do you want with a Fosh, right? You have a 2-second interclip. You just want to shoot and shoot and shoot. But the thing with these Foshes in this engagement, you're peeking corners. You have to aim for weak spots because you don't have that high pen. And that means you're not shooting every 2 seconds. You might be shooting every 4 seconds because you've got to aim, you've got to readjust, you've got to turn, which means that long reload is even longer, and it just reduces the DPM. And Hit and Run really got a perfect engagement here.
Yeah, they did, and I bet they're very happy as well about how it turned out at the end of the day. They get the points, they get the win, they get to watch now as well how we continue the rest of the evening. Next up is Sicario versus Lotus. We already touched on it very briefly, but a match where both teams have opportunities, IMO.
Yeah, and a really important match, actually. Lotus, one of the lowest seeded teams, and Sicarios coming up from the lower leagues. So this is a really important match for both of them, actually. If either one of these teams can take the whole 3 points, then that could be big for their league position. But yeah, it's a fantastic game, and I'm ready to watch the rest.
We will come back to you shortly, but before that, we're going to take a quick step back, watch some replays, and get ready for the next one.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the second match of today. And well, for the one that we just saw, another match, another day, another misprediction. I don't even know why you followed my prediction, Darky. Not gonna lie.
Maybe we should just put yours on a separate sheet, so we don't have to look at them no more. You know what I mean? We'll call it the loser sheet.
Whoa. It's just the sheet of special predictions. That's what we're gonna call it. Anyway, upcoming match, Sicarios against Lotus. And to be honest, I kind of have trouble picking a proper favorite here. Like, what about you?
I feel like Sicario are favorite on paper.
Yeah, on paper, but I wouldn't be surprised, for example, for Lotus to take the victory here either. I think they are probably kind of evenly matched here. Sicarios, obviously pretty new in the league, coming in with their neat black shirts here, and a coach as well. That is a trend. I think 2 out of the 8 teams in the OLS now have coaches as well. So players that don't actively play, but try to, you know, do everything else possible to make their team win.
Let's see if that translates into actual victories, though, huh?
Well, we have to wait and see. I think none of the top 4 teams so far going with that strategy, or the big 4, not the top 4 right now. And here, Lotus coming in with the coach as well. So I guess battle of the coaches.
Wait, who's Lotus's coach?
Mati TLP. It says in bottom left, right above the AMD Together We Advance logo.
I missed that. I honestly completely missed that. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of got to see the maps and then how the teams started off. Like I said before, I think this is a match where both teams have opportunities that they could capitalize on, but it will be onto the teams themselves to, you know, swing it one way or the other, right?
Absolutely. I think the maps are going to determine a lot of what's going to happen. First of all, though, community prediction siding with Sicarios as well, roughly 3-1 odds here. So let's see where it takes us. To be honest, I really have trouble predicting what's going to happen here. I believe I took a quick look in the pick and ban sheet earlier. Sand River is going to be the first map, so I guess a rather a rather slow start between both of those teams. But where it's going to take us, no one knows. And the fact is that in Onslaught, you can basically play any map kind of fast if you really want to. And indeed, here we have the map pick and bans, Cliff and Himmelsdorf taken out. So we're gonna indeed start on Sand River. Then we are going to hop over to a map that can be played very quickly, but with the BZ possibly being banned, might be played very slowly as well. That is Westfield and Screw and Ghost Town Tundra, all been taken out in that order. And then we are left with Pilsen as the possible tiebreaker if we get there.
I think we'll start off pretty slow on Sand River between these two. I don't know. I just got a feeling. But Westfield will be explosive. Kind of got to see, like, the bans are a little impactful on Sand River as well, because, you know, there's only, like, STRV does what STRV does. I don't think there's a real true alternative. Gorilla exists, right? But for this map, I think it's the ideal STRV map.
Yeah, and the fact as well is that, I mean, it's not a one-to-one replacement, but for the Gorilla, you could also, for example, pick the 114 SP2. I believe we saw that last season being played. Although I think the success was kind of arguable, but at least there, I think this is why people are probably not going to go with the Gorilla ban and instead STRV, or, for example, BZs can be a very powerful tool if you're afraid, for example, of a cap rush of the opposing team. Then you can try to take that out of the picture. I think from the Fury mediums, E50M, 430U, right now the 430U is probably going to be the stronger ban if you want to remove one of those two. But then again, if you ban one, the other one still remains. So do you really want to invest that?
Yeah, no, with the Fury mediums, I think there's choices on Sand River. I think you're more looking at like EBRs, STRVs, IHMs, because anything bad in IHM is kind of like a slight downside. Of course, like they all have their advantage and disadvantage, but there's no true universal scout like the IHM that does everything and is just excelling at damage, right? And in that regard, you know, the EBR is unique as well, right? There's nothing.
I think another tank that kind of gets overlooked in the tank bans a little bit, especially for Sand River, would be the IS-7. I think we've seen quite a few very interesting hold-down plays being made by those tanks. So if you're not planning to incorporate it into your tactic, I mean, we could be seeing a team throwing a ban their way, but with other tanks being more impactful, you were talking about EBR, for example. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. And caster predictions here, well, all the three of you are going with my team of choice as well. That is Sicarios. So I guess we're either going to float or sink together.
Well, I'm going to go look for the life vest. I don't see one immediately, so I guess it's sink.
Let's see. Maybe you'll be sailing away on the rescue raft. That is the tiebreaker for the 2 points.
Who knows? Who knows? It's possible. It is possible. I don't know. I just felt like this was going to be a close one. You know, I said it last season. You know, I've won my one season, right? That's all I cared about. I won my one.
The end of it.
I won my one season, which is more than Kihan has and ever will.
I actually think I won like the first season or something, but that is obviously some time ago now. So I do have a win under my belt. I think I was sharing it with Phil the first season round.
Then it doesn't count.
What do you mean it doesn't count? Sharing is caring.
There can only be one winner in these kind of competitions.
I think you're being too greedy there.
No, I think I'm being very honest about it. But let's see what we get. 4 Dravets, double K91, and an RHM for Sicarios that ended up banning the 430U.
And for Lotus, we do indeed see the STRV ban. And what are they picking? That is double Dravets together with a Batchat, double CS, a K91, and an RHM. So I would say a pretty light lineup coming out of Lotus here. Only really 2 tanks that can form a frontline. And to be honest, that's kind of it. The radio low noise combination on the K91, actually pretty interesting.
I mean, yeah, it's a choice, you know, like it helps for certain positions, positions where you need to get despotted quickly, right?
I mean, on Tuesday, we did indeed see a K91 immediately evaporating in the middle of the map. Bochans is going to try to avoid that. Milo sees the first 2 tanks. Those are the CSs crossing over. The RHM getting spotted as well. So I think Sicarios at this point in time have a pretty good idea as to what Lotus is trying to achieve.
And they should, right? They should at this point in time have a pretty good idea. But Sicarios with that double K91 in the base, got to be careful, of course, because there's a plane available. And he will not like what has just happened. It's minus 1k, and Rishek taking 1 as well. So really good initial damage there from Lotus.
Good punishment onto the K91s. Then again, arguably that is not the most important damage to deal as long as the tank stays alive, because just like an STRV, maybe not as extremely so, but just like an STRV, it's basically like as long as the tank is alive, the gun is in the game, and it isn't really supposed to kind of frontline brawl, although that is maybe what Rishek will have to do here, because Jordan with that CS is coming around, throws over a tree. Did Rishek see that? Is the question. He does drive away, both of them spotting each other. Jordan in slow mode hits. Rishek has to bow to this one, has to go behind the stones.
So Sicarios is resetting into this K-line hold. There's nothing G1 either, so they'll be okay with that. Click there, tries to take the strike, gets denied. Of course, because of the mini strike. Always got to wonder how valuable it is to reset the guy on the strike instead of like gathering a higher tier strike over time, you know?
Yeah, especially since the higher tier strikes also stun as well, which can be very important in shootout. Another mini strike down on towards Click. They really don't want to let him get that strike in the middle, but he's going to start collecting it momentarily again. Jordan facing off against Alex, who misses the shot, but now I don't think there is really anything remaining that can stop Click from taking it. Maybe the strike off Jordan is going to do that. Never mind, he snatches it away. Jordan used the strike, not sure. Yeah, he did put it on Click, but it was too little, too late.
I think Jordan has bigger problems right now than putting the airstrike, as in he's getting shot by Alex on the side of the cliff. He has to drop down even, and that's a long way down.
Oh, that's down some HP as well, minus 800, so down towards a 2-shot. Goes the CS, has to really start driving away, but the strike is enough to finish it off. Click with the Dravets. Now we know why they didn't want to let him get the strike, but really, you have to wonder, Jordan, that position? not the optimal one.
Completely not necessary for him to go further along the edge when he already has the balcony with the bush. It's just greedy, and greed gets punished. And as a result of that, well, Lotus is down a tank. They're forced to push. They don't have a choice.
Yep. One tank less means the tiebreaker condition currently would decide it against Lotus, who are picking up the middle strike, but just like they did towards Sicarios, they're also getting reset. Good shot from Alex in towards Botchans here, so the Dravid's really able to play the outside crown here and exert a lot of view range, a lot of control for his team. You can see behind him, 300-400 meters away, is the rest of his team just waiting for pot shots at Lotus tanks that may be over-peaking a little bit. So as of right now, Sicarios looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah, they don't have to do anything. That's their best part, right? They don't have to do a damn thing. They can just sit, wait, and hold for the push, which is something that they could have done in their last match as well, if you remember, when Milo decided to donate a tank.
Indeed, Sokol perma-spotted, but now in comes the repush. Tuka with the Batchat as well, fully loaded with 5 shells, but bounces one on towards Click. A third tank shooting on towards Click as well, who starts melting, not on fire, but soon to be down and out here. Good push, getting called by Lotus, but how much does it cost them?
Honestly, it was relatively, well, not cheap, but could have been a lot worse, to be honest. It was a good push. It really was a good push, and now Alex in a little bit of trouble as well. Dropping over, taking a strike to the face. Milo on the cap, taking a shot or two as well. And all of a sudden, we're in an even game. Another strike on towards Alex. And Tuka is hunting actually for that. He might find Alex here as well. And that would be 2 tanks down for the side of Sicarios. They were not ready for this whatsoever.
Absolutely not. Miku now scrambling towards that Batchat that is, of course, on the long reload. Well, not so long in Onslaught, actually, but he manages to get away. Slipping away with the Batchat, will be able to put a lot of map control from other parts of the map, of Sand River here. Toxic also getting found in that RHM, has to seek cover behind a dune, needs to be very careful. Tuka and Twist also on the prowl. The Rishek taking another shot. This might be kill number 3 for Lotus on the horizon.
No, I think it's kill number 3 for sure. I mean, Tuka will come in with the Batchat, 5 shells available. Twist as well there. Rishek needs to be... Tarks needs to be careful in that RHM not to make a greedy little peek, but Tuka and Twist, they find it. The 1-2 combination, put him down. Rishek has nothing left to do but to spectate, and Sicarios really gotta wonder, like, how do we lose to this?
Yeah, it was all looking mighty fine. As soon as they picked up the first kill on towards Jordan, that arguably was really down to Jordan greeting with the positional play that he did. But now, 3 unanswered kills, and really, I mean, Lotus, they didn't do anything exceptional. They just picked good targets to push upon, and Sicarios seemed stunned. They weren't reacting to anything that Lotus was doing.
Now, the momentum has shifted, right? Sicarios somehow has to find a way back in, and I don't see it. I really don't see it.
I also had trouble envisioning Lotus getting back into the game, I have to say that, when they were down a tank, but they managed to do it. However, of course, 6v7 is a different situation than 4 versus 6, so let's see how this one goes. Sicarios also the team that needs to make a move. They have less HP, which is also not the best starting point for such a push.
No, of course not. Of course. But, and of course, also Milo's a one-shot, so you got to take that into consideration. It's going to be hard. David is an opening, though, say that much. He is definitely the first pick here. He's also not really covered. It's going to be one of those situations where Miku gets a freebie, but there's no follow-up with the strike, though, more likely than not. They don't have one. So Miku spots out David, will hit the shot, even push towards him. David will get on towards the edge, but... I look at the left, I don't see a strike available right now for the side of Sicarios. So they need somebody to take that strike so that they can pick up David or Milo from the KLM. But that is a risk, of course, for Milo to do because he is a one-shot. So it's going to have to be Miku, but that is not worth it whatsoever. Ay.
Well, let's put it like this. He tried making a play in a game that more likely than not, was already very much lost. And he does pay the ultimate price for it. Lotus are playing a very calm game. Twist, however, going down in the CS. So that is the double mini strike gone. They still have bot chance with the K91 though. So still one of those baby strikes available together with the info tower from Sokol. But right now 3 versus 4. It doesn't sound as bad as 4 versus 6 anymore. But looking at the HP, yeah, I don't think it's really doable, considering that the cap has already ticked down to 15 seconds as well.
So they will use the info very soon. They have Sokol on the info. They reset Baltsians, but there comes the activation. Baltsians puts the strike. Is it on Adi or like it's on Adi? And it misses. It actually misses. Unbelievably enough, it missed. It's Sicarios to win the game. Oh my word, that is unbelievable. What a disaster.
Well, word just in, both teams through, but Sicarios at the end of the day with the steal, I guess, the interception. It was, well, you don't see something like this every day. Let's just put it like this. Without words, really. Without words.
Sorry, that game had everything, and that was everything that I regrettably don't like. You know, it's for both of these teams. It's you know, it takes one team always to set up an opportunity and the other one to steal it. But if you're Lotus and you get back into this game, you get an amazing opportunity to win out the battle, and then you let it slip out of your fingers. Still, it's real. That's really tough.
To be honest, they didn't really let it slip more than they threw it away as hard as they could. Like, this is yeah, well, not optimal. Not optimal if you're Loaded. And also, like, psychologically speaking, this must be an absolute tilter. Like, you know you've won, and then all of a sudden the scoreline is against you because, well,
you know you've lost, then you know you've won, and then you've lost again.
Yep. I am a little bit speechless right now. Like, well,
at least I was right when I said both teams have opportunities, you know?
That was certainly correct. But yeah, what the helly? Going down to the bottom of it, Sicarios leading 1-0, so maybe both teams would do best with just forgetting what happened in this battle, because realistically both teams don't want to repeat the process of it. Sicarios would probably like to repeat the result, but I mean, you said it, both teams, to put it mildly, were very proactive with creating opportunities for the opponent to exploit.
Yeah, that's one way to put it, Ken. That's for sure. Okay, let's see what. I'm curious to see what the second one brings now.
I mean, can it top the first one is the question. It will be hard. It's not impossible, but let's see. I think the bans should be about ready to come in. So let's see. Sicarios banning out the Dravets. And they are currently starting off with BZ K91, quadruple 430U, quintuple 430U, and STRV.
Yeah, look at the STRV equipment. Also interesting always to point out. He has 2 sets, one with binos and Camonet, and the other one what it is now. You know, one more stationary, one more for mobile gameplay, and mobile gameplay seems to be the name of the game for Sicarios with that triple 430 UCS II-7. That one can move.
It can indeed move, and it can also fight. A lot of hold down power in there, but to be honest, the same thing can be said for Lotus, that have the quintuple 430 of their own together with the MBY and the BZ. Kind of crazy, but in this lineup, the BZ actually the tank with the weakest hold down play, I guess.
Yeah. Miko spots out sometimes going K-line. At least he sees the Mivi. The Capel gets started. The SRV will cover. This could not this could be a decent start here for Sicarios, because even if they get pushed, they have a fighting lineup. They see this push immediately coming over. I mean, Jordan, Tuka, Boltsians, Twist, David, they're all pushing on towards the cap here. Sicarios got to be careful, though. You know, they see it so early. They got to disengage a little bit towards this riverbed area, get the STRV involved, but don't go too low, because if you go too low, then you run into the problem. The strike is good, though. The strike is very good. But if you go too low, you run into the area where Lotus might run over you. It's going to be like to fall immediately. Tark's going for the Ram against Miku, but that is a bad move there from that BZ, because that puts him into the STRV territory. And together with the 430U from the top, they shred him down. And we've seen a team drive down this dried out riverbed before, and it did not go that well for them. Lotus trying to change that one around, but so far it's not looking that much better for them. Click pulls back, Adi pulls back, but Adi seems to be perma-tracked. That is something that Lotus can definitely use to their advantage, getting that IS-7 out of the game.
Yeah, Adi getting completely wrecked here with the IS-7 by that swarm of 430Us that are notably all still alive for the side of Lotus. So the DPM definitely there. The HP gap has also closed. The problem for Lotus right now is they're all in this dried out riverbed. And you know what they say, when they go low, we go high. And that is what Sicarios is currently doing with the crossfire, chasing David away. The 430Us needing to find another opportunity, but is Sicarios going to give it to them is the question. Rishek also spotted in the backlines with that STRV, takes some shots. Not that it matters too much, the HP on the STRV that is, but now the game settles a little bit. Once again with the tank advantage for Lotus, 4 versus 6 if you're speaking for Sicarios, but we've had that one before.
Yeah, but look at it. David on 400, Jordan on 300. Twist on 600. There's a lot of things here in range, or about to be in range for that artillery strike that is being picked up by Milo as well. And that is a problem. That's a real problem here for the side of Lotus.
I mean, the artillery strike did go down from 450 to 425 damage, but, you know, if everyone is below 400 or at 400, if you're David from those one-shots, then it doesn't really matter. The artillery strike to prevent the info tower, I mean, it prevents the info tower from getting taken, but David now getting picked up by Milo in the 430U. Jordan, I think, was also spotted, so he's in danger. That's why Twist has to come close.
Yeah, Botsians finds an angle on towards Miko, though. He pushed in towards that strike to contest, but Milo now coming in from above. Miko down towards the one-shot. He's tracked there. I don't think Botsians realizes this bush. It protects him. Jordan goes down against Click. And now Miku might be a one-shot. Click is a one-shot as well, though. It's going to be on Milo, on Rishek to bring this game home for their team. And Milo is trading it out. It's got to be careful, though.
Has to be careful here. Indeed is on top of the dune here, trying to find angles against Botchans, but obviously the limited gun depression of the 430U is what he's battling with right now. And with one-shots across the board here for the teams, 2 for Sicarios, 1 for Lotus, they cannot make any kind of misstep. Twist also only on a 2-shot here. If either team gets a strike, they could really generate an opportunity.
That is for sure. And the strikes are up, but Sokol has quite a way to go. Clicks gets spotted out. He's running away. Twist will not find this one. Will not be able to do so. Might continue on towards the middle strike, though. Try and get that asset away. Looks like that's what he's doing, and Click realizes this. He's now in a little bit of no man's land, because anywhere he goes could be bad. He might try to peek beforehand.
Oh, I think he kind of has to. He does get spotted. Twist aims. He picks up the artillery strike as well. Peeks, though. Tries to get it with the shot, but now the strike gets put. Will Click be able to get out of it? The answer is no. And Click does get secured as a kill, leaving Sicarios on only 3 people.
And now that means Rishek is starting to move right in the STRV. I think that's the bell there for him. It's time, because he probably should have moved already, because now Miku is also in a little bit of a predicament, right? Milo is going for the push, will not find bot, will spot out Milo from Botsian's perspective.
Oh, Botsians does kind of make it away, though. The 430Us, I think none of them have low noise exhausts installed currently. 430U actually with surprisingly good camo too. But he stays unspotted as he fades away into the bushes. Sokol is going to take the artillery strike, and with so few tanks on so little HP, it actually is a really potent tool to have. Especially if Miku now gets spotted, he did.
Milo takes the strike, or will be able to take the strike. Has to face off against Sokol's strike, but Sokol I think knows that it's Milo that's taking it, and this is of course a dangerous game for any team to play at this point. Now Milo needs to start hunting. Twist will want to take that middle strike as well, right? And the question is, does Milo try to do something about this?
Well, for now, Milo is driving to the info tower, might try to take it, and then, of course, the question is, as soon as he has it... Ooh, is the strike going to attack him? No, he even drives out. That is such an important asset that just goes to waste for the side of Lotus. But of course, Twist is able to get yet another strike. Does he opt to use it is the question for now. The answer seems like no. So Milo gets the info tower, doesn't use it yet. Which, of course, means that especially Tuka needs to be constantly on the move here. Cannot be sure ever when it's safe to stand still. Info tower gets used. The strike may get put. Does it get used is the question. Yes, and Tuka gets sent to the grave. It's 3 versus 3.
Important note, Rishek hit Botsian some blind. Minus 500. He also knows that because he got ability back. So if there was a question about it, both teams roughly the same lineup, right? I think Sicarios is winning this in terms of damage dealt.
Should be the case, yes. And with only Twist having a strike right now, I mean, he can probably prolong the taking of the strike that's going on right now, but not forever. Of course, the MVY also notably gets spotted in the southwest of the map. He's still on a 2-shot, or maybe even 3-shot for now, as Twist tries to find Milo that is taking the artillery strike in the north as well. You can see both teams are really trying to play with those neutral objectives to get an advantage, to edge it out. But, I mean, this is still up for the taking. 2 minutes remaining and very little HP. Because, for example, that SRV, good blind shot as well. You can see as soon as he actually gets hit, there is not a lot of armor remaining.
No, and Twist is now moving, transitioning as well. I think Sicarios are making a mistake here. You know, like they're risking it for no reason. I think if you look at the lineup and then match it team for team, you realize that you know, they are in a position where they don't really need to risk with the info, for example. And Milo doesn't need to risk with going over that part as well. Like, I know it's kind of a gamble, right? But it's a calculated one, I would say.
Absolutely. I mean, Rishek, does he want to invest his HP in the last 90 seconds here? The problem is on 923, and with the guns in the enemy team, like both the 430Us have a good shot here into the 430U in the middle. Rishek gets spotted with Twist behind him. He sets up. Twist has to drive into the 430U. The strike going down to kill Twist, so all of a sudden gun advantage for Sicarios, but the HP on their tanks are just not there. But there is no strike for them.
No, there's not. The 430U is now starting to hunt, though. Rishek going on towards the artillery strike with the SRV. That's the right move, because even then, if Botsians finds Milo, okay, that's not as great as I thought, because Botsian's 550. Milo needs to get ready. Of course, close combat will trigger in a second, so he should know. Milo shoots towards Sokol. Botsian finds the kill. Rishek gets a shot against Sokol, though, and now all of a sudden it's playable for by either side. Rishek, he didn't end up taking the strike, and it's Sokol to find the kill. What on earth is happening?
Well, it's gonna be a 1-to-1 if nothing uber crazy happens. Now the CS mini strike does miss against Sokol, who now uses the ability, realizes, hey, I don't really need the reload right now. Maybe I should protect myself from some HE shells by the CS63 that now starts driving in towards the middle, desperately hoping to just about find anyone with 3 seconds remaining. Will he be able to do it? Probably not. The time runs out, and after 2 interesting rounds of Sand River, we find ourselves at a tight score, 1-to-1.
I think this might just be the most interesting rounds of Sand River I've ever watched in my life.
Well, let's just say they were very unpredictable. Even in game, you never knew who was winning. Like, you thought you knew who was winning, but
I think I had a really good clue who was winning for the longest period of time, actually. I don't think it's that much of a gamble. Like, I really was very confident about the HP part.
I was agreeing with you there. I was like, what Daki is saying, it makes perfect sense, you know, in a normal world and in a normal game. That's probably the way that the cookie crumbles, but well, seems like Sicarios.
I mean, we'll see it now, right? As well. Did we go over the post game stats already?
I believe so. Yeah.
I forgot to count the. I forgot to look at the total damage dealt by both teams.
Oh, that one
Yeah,
I actually also didn't look at. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just curious, like, what's the final difference? Because there was like 500 HP left, you know.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. Maybe in 10 minutes on the stream you'll be able to see it. But the match might actually be over then, because unlike Sand River, Westfield has a lot of opportunities for quick play. But of course, you can also play it slowly. Just if you're playing the outside, be careful not to get spotted. Monster in a certain K91 will probably be able to firmly attest to that.
Yeah, that was it's a very interesting Sand River. I can't wait to see what Westfield brings, you know.
Actually, I just had an opportunity to look at the post-battle stats now, and for Sicarios, it was 22,800 roughly, and for Lotus, it was 22,200, so 500 damage apart.
Yeah, so Sicarios still did more damage.
Yep.
And they were like up in HP, so there's no way. There is no way that they were losing in damage dealt at that point. It just doesn't exist.
I mean, yeah, you were and you are correct in your assessment. It's just that the outcome of the battle did not agree with the correct assessment, which was the case for the first game as well. But hey, that means we're just going to see more goodness in between Sicarios and Lotus, who are now into round number 3 this time around. It's gonna be Westfield. Sicarios are gonna ban out the STRV, and Lotus take out the Dravets, interestingly enough, leaving the BZ on the table as an option for either team.
But there's not that many of them, Kian. There's actually not a single one of them.
Nope. I think...
What does that tell us?
Like, maybe some teams are just assuming that the BZ is going to be banned and they just plan their tactics around that and just don't incorporate it into their tactics. Anyway, though, Sicarios is going to start with double K91 140, so the Inspire Medium is there together with a 430U. Double Badger looking for mushrooms and an RHM. Good plane, by the way. Great plane even coming out from Sicarios. 5 people, whereas the plane from Lotus only saw 3, and that also means no replaying for Tarks.
Andy going towards the strike. Gets stuck behind the building. K91 Batson to take over the north. Archam taking the K line. I mean, Sicarios got to show us that they're not shaken after the last battle, right?
I mean, Lotus had a good recovery, so let's see if Sicarios can have one. For my pick, at least, Sicarios needs to win this cleanly here on Westfield. A lot of strikes getting expended on that info tower, by the way. That is also a change with the artillery strike on level 1 available for the CSs. They're able to deny the complete info, or at least delay it. Lotus have it now, but so will Sicarios in a second. So both teams finally playing with the full information. What are they going to do with that is the question.
Cap gets set by Sicarios. Ari trying to move away, taking some damage. Twist not hitting that one though. But in the meantime, Lotus already very much gathered around this middle strike, taking it over, taking the south strike as well. Although Click will deny it in his Badger. And that's the double cap on, and the double cap turns into a triple cap. Tarks will hit the plane. There's little strikes available here for the side of Lotus. There's one big one. It will hit 2, and it also will hit the guys that have most of the cap. Like and Miku, not really split up enough, I would say, between those two. Could have been a bit better.
Look at the position of A3, though. There is a K91 there, and it might just be the undoing of Lotus if they don't deal with it. Jordan now coming in, but he's going to take a lot of damage. Tuka probably also going to cross over because Rishek now has the HP advantage in that DPM duel between the K91s, and Rishek can always drop back. But for now, Lotus trying to establish dominance around the cap. The RHM even getting pulled into the fight. Rishek is going to switch targets. Jordan even falling. Good focus fire coming out from Sicarios, but I think it's not going to be good enough to save Rishek.
No, Rishek is dead. David finds the kill. Now they're trying to get on towards Miku as well, who's a little bit too far forward in that Badger twist with the peek in the Blitzkavitze. Will he get it? Miku goes for the facehawk, and that really ruins the Blitzkavitze's potential altogether. With that very narrow gun arc, is not able to find any of the weak spots, and especially not on that angle. And all of a sudden, Lotus, they go and try and hit a timing on the repush, but the only thing that gets hit is the tanks driving in from them. Click in his Badger, might fall, but honestly, at this point in time, Sicarios has 6 tanks left alive versus a mere 3 from Lotus, and surely they're not able to let this one slip between their fingers. You'd be afraid to say it at this point, but I feel like this one really is not able to be thrown.
No, I don't think so. There is only a singular tank remaining. David's whereabouts are firmly known, as well as Like is starting to close in. The heat shells, no issues whatsoever penetrating the 430 US. Milo comes in to pad his damage dealt a little bit more as well. And whereas the first 2 battles were a back and forth, I think Sicarios in this one and this time around able to establish a little bit of confidence, a little bit of dominance, finally.
Yeah, very, very good stuff from Sicarios. But this time around, they just had to beat down on the repush, right? And thankfully for them, they were able to do it. Maybe Jordan went in a little bit premature, I would say, as well, with his K91, forced the 430U to come because of the initial damage he took. Then there was not enough HP left for them to kill. Was another tank forced in. That definitely didn't help. Would that change enough? I don't know, but it could have.
It could, but I think the repush would have been a very, very hard one either way. Sicarios doing a good job with essentially denying the strikes, which would have given Lotus more time to set up well for a cap retake. But like this, it was all very scrappy. It was all done like under time constraints, and you could really see that the timings were a bit off. And I think Sicarios, not only individually, for example, with the Badger play that you highlighted, but together as a unit, able to just profit off of Rishek taking that A3 position, right? Because Rishek, at the end of the day, he fell, but there was so much that had to be invested to take him out that it was game losing. And it would have been game losing to not do it as well for Lotus. Like, if Rishek is allowed to stay there and farm, then, well, it maybe takes a little longer because it's only a singular gun shooting, but the end is the same regardless.
Mm-hmm. 2-1. I will not say that Sicarios wins the next round, to be honest. I think it's anybody's game. My prediction also says that, but, you know, trying to think back, Sicarios won the first round that they probably shouldn't have, right?
I mean...
No, they won it then when they should have. The second round, they shouldn't have. So it should actually be 3-0. Honest, if in the perfect universe, it's 3-0.
I mean, technically speaking, right, the 2 Sand River rounds, let's treat them as complete wildcards. So it could be, you know, 3-0 here for Sicarios. It could also be a 1-2 for Lotus.
Yeah, anything is still possible in that regard. So, second Westfield, looking at it. Waiting for the ban phase to end before I, like,
6
make
seconds. 6 seconds. Ban phase currently going on. I mean, yeah, the tanks that are there right now are the ones that the teams...
Okay, both teams banned the SCRV, so nothing changes.
That makes it easy.
Yeah.
So Sicarios, I guess, starting into the game with quadruple Dravets, double Batchat, and a 430U.
Lotus in return. Dravets, double Mivi, Type 5 Heavy, double CS63, and a Leopard 1.
Leopard 1, interesting choice. We sometimes see it on Ghost Town, but I think on Westfield, if not a first, it's a very rare specimen.
I mean, it has a really good gun, though. I guess you could play it on like the A5 position. While from the other side, I guess you could play around the E1 position.
It of course comes with the baby strike as well. Not that Lotus needs so many of those currently, because they also have double CS. But it is a fact to mention. I'm not sure if the 420 Alpha from that Leopard 1 are enough to immediately generate a charge as well. Tuka immediately driving forward with that CS. He's going to tuck himself in towards a pocket to be kind of safe. No, he isn't actually from the double Dravets. Now he finally is able to go in there, but in comes Rishek as well. That needs to be careful with the gun elevation of his Batchat together with Alex. The strike going down. Alex bleeding a lot, but Tuka is down and out in towards Jordan now, but the next strike is incoming.
Next strike comes in. Jordan finds the kill as well. Rishek now in reload, and now we can see Sicarios trying to overpeak, trying to make this happen, but the Type 5 and the Leopard are trying to cover from the best of their abilities as well. Click is low. Rishek is about to come off reload. Darkseid gets deleted. Milo, if they can keep him alive, will still be an asset in his battle now. Jordan behind enemy lines will be eliminated and will allow Rishek to come back in with that Batchat with 2 shells available, if I'm not mistaken. But that are important shells. Botsians goes down, and Sicarios with 6. They find a moment there to get on towards those CSs, and finally they're not letting this one slip either by the looks of things. Another 6-man squad from them versus just 3 from Lotus, who had a lot of HP left but also had like really big tanks in that regard. And it is going to be, at the end of the day, a comfortable win for Sicarios, which was kind of unexpected after Sand River, but they do bring home the 3 points.
Indeed, a pretty safe victory at the end of the match for Sicarios, but I think the way that we got here, that's going to stay a very memorable one. That Sand River, even though the rounds were extremely long, it was one of the most interesting and entertaining ones that I have ever watched. So, yeah, but I think on Westfield, Sicarios clearly showing who was the better team today. Yeah, no fault there. Lotus clearly know what they will have to improve upon, but for now, congratulations, Sicarios, for picking up 3 well-earned and also 3 very important points for the OLS.
Yeah, for sure. Those 3 points, you know, especially against teams that you would expect in their range of position in the leaderboard, taking those away is always very important. So for them, the job is done, but I really think they got to take a hard look back at that Sand River and think about how, what, and where they can improve. Plenty of places, in my opinion, but nonetheless, you know, they end up at the 3 points, and that's the most important aspect.
Post-battle results here. I mean, in a shootout like this, the tanks that are, you know, in it right from the start usually end up having the most damage. And sometimes, you know, Alex, for example, he just took the bullets for his team. But I think the batch-up push was pretty well timed. It was also going right onto the important targets. First taking out Tuka, then taking out Jordan. So both of those DPM tanks that really thrive off of a longer match where they're constantly giving side shots. I think Lotus also with the slight problem that, for example, the Leopard, yes, it's a great tank with an even better gun, but in a shootout, it doesn't fare so well.
No, it doesn't. They tried to make this play with this double CS, right? And it was a bit too much. Like, the bats are a good counter for that, though, because they're able to burst down the first CS, and then they're not able to do it on the second, but they do some damage, and then Rishek can finish it off, right?
I mean, if it's just 2v2 double Batchat versus double CS, the double Batchat just wins by default, in my opinion. So yeah, they had the perfect counter for that play. And that means we have 2 scorelines of 3-1, albeit in 2 matches that played out very, very differently. That means half of the matches for today are over, but, you know, glass half empty, glass half full. That means half of the goodness is also still remaining. So, yeah, for now, we are going to be heading to some replays, and we'll, after that, be right back with the action.
W just continuing through. I don't think he's making it. That's going to be a lot of DPM. This will be a hard one for Mafia. It's not looking good. He's going to disappear. Pretty bad for Catchback. He's dead. They're doing damage, but they're not stopping this train of W tanks pushing forward. He's a one-shot items with one more kill. They can't really do anything. Hit and run seems to be outnumbered, and it will be crushed under the heel of W.
Well, hello there and welcome back to the third match of the day. It's Mafia against CTR, but first, Bunta, I have to ask, last match, Sand River, thoughts?
Wild, interesting, controversial, insane. It was an interesting one to watch. It was a very strange one, but
Roller coaster with quite a few loopings in there. But yeah, Mafia against CTR, so I guess you could say the Polish-Czech derby coming up. However, there is a clear favorite. Mafia, past champions in the OLS. CTR last season, kind of an up-and-coming team, to be honest, with a few upsets, surprising performances. This time around, looking not too shabby either, but still, against this roster here of Mafia that is tried and proven, I think they will have the work cut out for them.
yeah, last season CTR were the best of the non-top 4 big teams. They performed very well, actually, especially on maps like Ruinberg. They did some nice innovative tactics, and even yesterday, beating Hit and Run 2-0. Not yesterday. Keep saying yesterday. Last play day against Hit and Run, they beat them 2-0 on Himmelsdorf, not winning the whole match, but still getting that one vital point. So you can't say they're not here to perform. But yeah, this Mafia team.
Talking about performance, I mean, Ojik, those are still the stats from last season, by the way. He was third on DPG in the whole OLS 5. That's, yeah, kind of crazy. Then again, I mean, if your team wins a lot, you get to shoot more, true. But still, there are some teams that win a lot, and he's still third.
Yeah, damage is damage. I mean, doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's only about the numbers. And speaking of numbers, these community predictions, I think they're a bit harsh, to be honest.
Then again, I mean, with such an established name and brand like Mafia, yeah, CTR, they've shown some promise, but Mafia, on the other hand, they have already delivered in the last playday. So I think it's an okay community prediction, personally. But then again, when it comes to prediction, I am kind of the opposite of an expert currently, it seems. Even though I got the last one right.
You're equal on points with Daki, so don't put yourself down. Yeah.
So he can't even trash talk right now anymore. Well, let's see.
You have both. What is it? You both have 5 points.
Well, I take it. I'm probably still in shared last place, but hey, I take it. Anyway, map pick and bans Tundra and Ensk taken out respectively. Mafia with their, I think it's fair to say, signature pick of Pilsen. CTR looking to surprise, I guess, on Westfield. Interesting choice. We just saw it being played, but there is so many ways to play Westfield. I doubt we are going to see the same again. Then a bunch of maps being banned out, and the good old and classic map of Himmelsdorf, even though it's kind of a newer one in Onslaught, but still, for me, it's always going to be a classic in my heart. Himmelsdorf tiebreaker. I hope we get there, but Mafia ain't going to make it easy.
Yeah, Himmelsdorf, E100, late nights after school, it's the classic. I'm getting a bit tired of Pilsen. I want to see Cliff. I want to see Himmelsdorf. But yeah, the Polish teams, they just seem to love Pilsen. They always take it. God knows why. I hate it. In randoms, like I never know where to go. But Westfield, the new edition being taken by CTR, they performed pretty well on it. They didn't win any of their games on it against Hit and Run, but they definitely had the potential to. They probably should have won the first one on the last playday. But yeah, Himmelsdorf was a tiebreak. Himmelsdorf was a nice map. It's a good mirror. Very equal. No team gets a big advantage.
I think arguably the same thing can be said about Pilsen as well. It's like, yeah, a few differences here and there, but the lo and behold, like roughly the map is kind of mirrored as well. I don't think anyone has a big advantage here when it comes to spawns. However, Mafia definitely has the advantage when it comes to predictions. And well, once again, I am the odd one out, kinda, because I'm saying it's a 3-0, but well, you're not far behind all the three of you with the 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, it is Mafia. So
I mean, they're always good for throwing around.
No,
I would say that's more like hit style.
No,
it's like sometimes.
I mean, it's Mafia, so they're a very strong team. So you kind of have to give them the win. Obviously, I mean, 3-0, I think is harsh. I think that's a bold one. But
for me, it's one of those, 3 to 0.5 where you can't be sure. Like, of course, normally you should always give the consolation round, but already it's the Playdate 2, and I need to make up some lost ground. So here I am.
You're equal with Ian and Ducky.
Yeah, but I don't aim to be
bottom, but that's not the
point. Anyway, though, for now, I think Herman is probably going to switch tank because it looks like he doesn't have equipment in it. There we go. The 50B is banned out for CTR and the 430U for Mafia, not wanting to play against the Fury medium here. So CTR seems like they're going to start with Dravets, T57, Type 5, K91, Foshby, EBR, and RHM double light tank coming out.
Yeah, double light's a bold one. K91 as well with that small strike from the start, so quite useful there. Yeah, I mean, HP on RHM, I always like looking at the equipment. I mean, it's going to give them an advantage on the field. I mean, Mafia do also have that K91, they have fast double time. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Obviously, CTR will need to open on this field. Herman going more aggressive. Plane comes out by Mafia, spots everyone except that EBR, so...
Oh, EBR getting spotted immediately by Kono, who connects the shot. That's going to give him a level 2 plane. That's a pretty good opening coming out by the RHM, who is still spotted. I think that was a plane that probably hit him by Koidicek, as Herman in the EBR is going to get a lot of map control. Profuse whiffing the hit onto the EBR. It does get spotted. Is able to fade away though, and in the meanwhile, Mafia putting their sights on the cap. Double T57, that's a lot of firepower. Together with the Fosh B, they will have the cap and the strike to boot, with which they won't be able to reset the field strike that Herman is currently taking. This is why Yolo and Conrad are splitting up, and Yuzek doesn't even join the cap. Wall himself playing the super heavy once again, but right now he doesn't have to hold the front.
Yeah, Mafia quite slow into this cap. Profus does have a small strike. He could have decapped that one, but opts not to. Koidicek doesn't have a play in the moment, which is very important because it means he won't be able to play in Profus. Dog shooting onto Orzic. 18 seconds left on this cap, but they do have the strikes. Looks like, just looking, Frolly. Yeah, Frolly has a small strike, and also Herman has that big one. 10 seconds to go, though, and these tanks are split up. Franta is going close to block it just in case. I think a strike will need to come out. It does. That's the big one coming out. Franta will block it. There's not that much that can punish him, but if these double T57s opt to peek on him, that 4,200 HP is going to disappear real quick.
Yeah, the thing is, though, it's 1,000 more HP than the clip of those T57s. Finally, both of them are getting spotted here. So one of them is going to drive away. Conrad, the only one with the cap points remaining, is at 50 right now, where Wudok gets punished by Kono for one of those peaks, but Profuse might be in big trouble here, as Evo and Koidicek, both of them spotted. Profuse starting to put out damage. Orzek trading it against Wudok, and finally Conrad peeking against Franta, and yes, Yolo peeking as well, but Conrad is taking a beating for this one as well. Franta was able, I think, to bounce 2 of the T57 heavy shots and is going to reduce Conrad to a one-shot as Koidicek falls, the team captain himself in the RHM, getting caught out.
Yeah, this push really wasn't good. Loki did a good clip on that T57 in the cap to try and equalize it, but now this push, I mean, they've lost Koidicek. Ivo might survive here, does survive, but goes down to that small strike by Profus before he goes down. Franta being peaked. Yolo bounces the last one, but I'm not sure it's going to make the difference. There's 6,000 HP in disadvantage at the moment. 1 tank disadvantage. Franta is on his last legs. Yuzek might even opt to HE him. Does make the kill and connects it. Conrad is there. He's being hunted by Frolly, but Frolly really doesn't have the engagement he needs. Kono is now chasing down that Dravik. Frolly getting pushed. It's just going from bad to worse for Mafia, for CTR, sorry. And yeah, Mafia holding strong, holding steady, and not panicking. Letting CTR make the move.
Yeah, I think CTR just having to invest too much in getting that K91 in the K7 position out of the game. Essentially, CTR bashed their heads against the wall here and really threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at that K91, but in turn, it just cost them too much. It cost them the RHM. The Foch ended up going down. Profuse with a beautiful solo play as well, even ending up getting the kill with the artillery strike. So, yeah, he sold himself well there for a horrendous price, and that indeed was too much for CTR to pay. And Herman, the only one remaining with that EBR now, of course, he is going to extend the game a bit just to be able to have the advantage in a possible tiebreaker. That would be, as we said, on Himmelsdorf, but it's not going to be much longer here. The Hounds are closing in. Barkis, beautiful shot into the EBR, even while dropping tracks takes out the wheels as well to hold the EBR a little bit in place. And Mafia, it's 1-0.
Yeah, nice by Barkis at the end there, connecting all those shots. It's not that easy with a Foch, it's such a narrow gun arc. But yeah, I disagree that was the play by CTR. I don't know why they opted to go for Profus. They have the double light. It's such a difficult thing to do. I feel like it would have been much better to just cover Franta, like Frolly did. Like when those double T57s peaked on Franta, I think the CTR actually traded positive in that engagement. They lost the game when they pushed on Profus, and you can see Koidacek, God knows what happened to him, but he got absolutely destroyed.
I think he was
just gone in an instant.
He was one of those people pushing on towards Profuse.
Yeah, him and Ivo, but they just completely focused him out. 300 damage. I saw Koidacek die, and then the camera switched to Profuse. So Profuse was almost full HP, and I was like, what? How did that happen? But yeah, I mean, solid. Barkis, he farmed a little bit at the end there, but still really nice damage in that Foch B.
What were the bans again? I think 430U.
Yeah,
430U and 50B. Interestingly enough, neither team, like the E4 isn't banned, and neither team chose it. The E4 usually very, very common on Pilsen.
I don't think it's that common anymore. I think we used to see a lot more, but I think with this current meta, CTR obviously being the weaker seeded team, and they're quite tactically innovative. So they're trying to catch Mafia out with this double light strat, but just didn't work. And Mafia applied the double T57 heavy pressure, and it just completely, CTR kind of crumbled. So yeah, solid by Mafia, but it felt like they didn't need to work that hard for this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think CTR just wanted too much with the push onto Profuse. They were misjudging the situation, misjudging how many people would actually be able to support Profuse in the position that he was in. And this leads to Mafia with a, I would say, pretty confident first victory. Yes, they, played some very, very solid World of Tanks, but really all they had to do was wait for CTR to make the mistakes, because I really do think they were coming into this one quite over-eager.
Yeah, I'm pushing Profus in that position when he was full HP. I mean, it's a K91. That's like, I don't even know how much DPM, but it's probably the highest DPM medium in the game. Without funny button abilities, of course, but it was always going to be very painful, and he was covered by a Foch and an RHM, so Profus doesn't even need to spot. He can just stay behind the house and let them come close. The RHM can spot for him. But CTR do need to try something. I'm really surprised they didn't ban this map. I feel like more teams need to ban this map against the Polish teams. I mean, they really have it on lockdown. They like to play it. You don't want to fight enemies on maps that they are confident on. So I do wish I could see what CTR banned. I might have a look at the spreadsheet, but yeah.
I think the biggest issue is that there is quite a lot of maps that Mafia is pretty comfortable on, so you have to sort of do...
Well, yeah. They CTR banned Ensk.
Well, first of all, CTR now also banning the EBR 105, whereas Mafia are going with the 430U once again. That is 2 times in a row in Pilsen that they don't want to play against the Fury Medium, which leads to the following setups for CTR. We have a Dravets, a T57, K91, double Foch B, an E4, and an RHM.
Yeah, on that Mafia side, triple BZ, so they're probably going to be going into the cap circle initially. Double Dravik, 1 CS, 1 RHM. Yeah, the 430U being banned, I think it gets banned, so it's a bit easier to play Draviks.
So interesting on Herman, he doesn't have the CVS, instead the Bond optics. That is not a choice we usually see. I think that's maybe to get some initial crossbots possibly on the field. But yeah, definitely an interesting choice of equipment coming out from Herman, as Kono with that RHM is looking to get the Arty strike with the light tank in the middle of the map. That's an opening and a half.
Yeah, it's not a bad opening as well. You can really steal it, especially when they go with these triple BZs straight in. Udog bounces on the back of Yuzek, a little bit of an unlucky one. He took all that damage without ability as well, which is not good. Herman, he's trying to deny Provos. Provos with that CS, he takes the strike, and he's covered by 2 Dravex. There's not many options for CTR here to get these decaps. One decap does come in. Might have been with the small strike of Frolly. He doesn't have one at the moment, but 10 seconds to go, and there's no decap option for CTR right now.
Absolutely not. Woodog also getting wrecked in that E4. Finally, a decap coming in from the Fosh B. Koidicek, a team captain coming in. Floki also able to block the cap, but that does not help the situation whatsoever, because X marks the spot. The BZ is pushing off the cap in towards the Dravets, and it probably is going to take only one more salvo to take him out as he gets reduced to 888. Not a jackpot for him. The artillery strike connecting on towards Barkis, the plane going down as well. But the problem for CTR is that their tanks are falling left, right, and center, while Mafia is holding on and holding strong. Barkis still not down.
Yeah, Mafia, maximum pressure, maximum aggression. Absolutely just crumbling CTR here. Taking the 2 strikes on the field and having enough tanks to cover that one-line strike. Man, it was only Frolly that could get a decap with his small strike. And after he did that, he has no more strikes. Woodog took all that damage in the beginning, which meant he couldn't really make a good peak without the potential for dying. And so nice by Mafia. This is kind of what... This kind of feels like a mirror game. The game we saw last playday between Cashback, the second Pilsen between Cashback and Sicarios. They took all 3 strikes and did maximum pressure, which meant that Sicarios couldn't really play anywhere on the map. And that kind of forced... This was obviously a bit different because Mafia were capping in this scenario, but you take the strikes away, which means they have to peek into triple BZ and also crossfire from other tanks. Solid by Mafia, just using their experience to kind of bully CTR.
To be honest, like, I think even if Woodog connects the shot with the E4 at the start of the battle, even then, I don't think it changes matters, right? Because
no, if he hits the shot and then doesn't take damage in return, it's going to be closer, because then he has the opportunity to peek later. But no, you're completely right. There wasn't enough decaps on the CTR side. It was a hole in their planning. The triple BZ just... So much pressure just meant that CTR just couldn't handle it. They didn't have the tanks in position to deal with it. Look at 100% pen rate on Mafia's side, by the way.
Yeah, that is not something you see often, but obviously...
That much damage as well. They killed everyone with 100% pen rate. That's kind of crazy, actually.
That's... I mean, accuracy only 81.48, which kind of answers the question as to is the pen rate actually from, total accuracy or not. So all the shots that they ended up hitting, they did end up penetrating. Of course, sometimes you have a few blind shots, especially on Pilsen. You have to knock down the doors, for example. But yeah, great display of skill from Mafia. Deserved victory on Pilsen 2-0. And especially, I think, in the second game, Mafia just showed that they, if needed, they can absolutely put the pedal to the metal, put the full aggression, and just overwhelm the opponent. CTR... not ready whatsoever for what we just saw.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you're going to be ahead of Daki after this next round in the prediction game. Yeah, after what we saw yesterday from Mafia against W, I'm starting to agree with you that this Mafia side, they're looking scary.
Yesterday?
But not yesterday. Yeah. Oh, I keep saying yesterday because in my mind I'm always in World of Tanks, always there. There's never a break.
I can tell you where we will be very soon, and that's going to be Westfield, actually, which is CTR's pick, so possibly a silver lining on the horizon.
In China?
No.
I thought we were having a big announcement there.
No, unfortunately, nothing to announce there. But yeah, Westfield is going to be the map of choice for CTR, and as I said, that is their map pick, which should normally indicate that they have something planned here to really stop the aggression from Mafia. Although the problem is Mafia are a team, they can play super aggressively, and they've demonstrated that now beautifully, but they can also just end up slowing down, parking the bus, and giving the opponent the room to make the mistakes that they don't want to do. They're very well known, for example, on Sand River. Mafia really likes doing that. The bans both teams with the same one, BZ75, out of the game, which leaves CTR with a lineup of 50B, Grouser, Enjoyer, Floki coming in together with double Dravets, MBY, K91, Badger, which kind of sees a resurgence this season, and an RHM.
I think it's the first Badger we've seen. On the Mafia side, double Dravet, double Yotank, K91 with the radio equipment, so he'll only be spotted for 1 second as opposed to the 3 seconds it normally would be. Bliska and RHM. A big thing to mention is Westfield is a new map in this, and this is the first time we've seen Mafia play it. So Mafia have a bit more information because CTR played it on the previous play day, not yesterday. So opening-wise, almost mirror opener.
Both of the light tanks also hitting 4 tanks with their plane. That means replane available. You could see Kono had to back off the info tower because that was one of the mini strike mediums from the side of Mafia CTR trying to use it, and that is because the 50B is actually rolling in down in the south, trying to support Koidicek, who once again takes a lot of damage. The plane coming in from Kono to try and keep him lit. He's going to be successful with that. CTR, they have to scatter to the winds because they realize against the Dravets of Conrad, there's really not a lot that they can do. I would say slight overcommitment coming out from CTR in the southeast of the map. Meanwhile, though, they're also aggressing in the northwest.
Yeah, this Badger, it was meant to protect against an overpush. He's now forced to trundle forward really slow. I think CTR could have had a good engagement there if they managed to catch Prufus, but they didn't. Koidicek took a lot of damage, leaving down to 800. They're forced to scramble back into the north, but what's awaiting them there? It's 2 Yotanks and a Bliska, and that Bliska might be on his lonesome, but that tank has so much DPM at close range, he will not go down cheaply. But Yuzek is showing his back here.
Yeah, he realizes he has to run. He takes a lot of damage. He also cannot activate the ability he finally does now to get a bit of mobility. No one able to track him here. Yuzep makes it into the ditch. Is he gonna survive there? Because now with the ability active, that's also a problem. It's gonna run out at some point. Narrow Gunark on the Bliskovica as well. So Froley will try to drive around him. That's a lot of DPM against Yuzek, who takes another one by Evo. Froley takes aim. Yuzek with another shot, but he bites the dust, and it's gonna be first kill for CTR.
Yeah, first kill. It wasn't that expensive, actually. Woodog and Froley did pay a little bit of HP. Frantar's not in a great position at the moment, but Mafia aren't in a good position either. They don't have the E1 or the A6 corner. They don't have the flanks. Floki, sorry. I think he was on fire there for a moment. Not sure, but he makes it over. Takes quite a lot of damage, but looking at it right now, Small Strike comes out into Floki, but Mafia do have double Big Strike, and that's going to do a lot of damage here. Right now, Kono rotating in the south. He'll take the E1 pocket to make that crossfire. Floki takes one from Ozic. Ivo and Frantar, they're trying to pressure. I think they realize a cap is not really possible here, so they're going to go for this fight when they know that Kono's behind them. Peeking over, Ivo needs to find a way into this game with that high DPM.
HP advantage still for Mafia here, and the big strikes are going to extend that advantage. Evo driving in with the Badger, takes a lot of damage immediately, gets shut down. That is gun parity, with Mafia also having the HP advantage on the light tank. Koidicek on the run. Bark is 1v2ing here, but the 50B starts clipping out. Floki still not out of the game. Barkis gets shut down. 4 versus 5 CTR fighting against the whitewash here, fighting for your predictions, but Banta, I don't think they're gonna make it. Mafia are sweeping it through here, 3-0.
How's it feel, Kian, to be up here with the big boys in the predictions? Up above the smog and the peasantry in the scores. Yeah, I mean, this was a surprising one. I'm not very happy because I think CTR is probably my favorite team. I loved the way they played last season. They played with a type of tactical fluidity that I really loved, especially because, you know, when you're the weaker seeded team, you've got to add a bit of flair. You've either got to push aggressive or make traps or do something a bit innovative like they did on the Runeberg when they started going into the mid with 50Bs. But in this one, we just didn't see it, and this didn't look that hard for Mafia. It really didn't. This was Mafia looking like favorites at the moment.
I think CTR, after the good conversion, realistically, on the Bliskovica, where they got a kill for free, I think they kind of got too complacent. right?
I'm not sure. I feel like they were just in a pretty bad position. You know, they're surrounded. Mafia have double strike. I think even if the game slows down and they don't make this repush, it's going to be the same result. I think CTR were just in a bad position. Sure, they get Yuzek, and I'll argue Yuzek made a mistake. I think he just pops ability and reverses. I don't feel like he does the full 180. I think that's a bit of a mistake. I think he could have died there if he got double tracked or something. Obviously, if he doesn't pop ability, his tracks have more HP, but wasn't a fan of that play. But even with losing Yuzek, CTR was just in such a weaker position. You know, Koidacek is low HP. They can take the angles with Prufus and Kono to make the crossfire. They've got the double strike. Even with 6 tanks, Mafia still had everything going for them.
Absolutely, and they beautifully executed as well. I liked also how Yolo and Ozek with the MBYs were kind of holding the front, while the Dravetzes, with obviously less gun depression, were sort of rotating around, covering the flanks. So the coordination between not only the whole team of Mafia, but the heavy tanks especially, and the timing of the RHM as well was pretty well done. So yeah, good job to Mafia, deserved 3-0, but of course, after a 3, there comes a 4, not in this match, but in the total matches that we have today, and this means we'll be right back after some replays.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. powers cloud services for billions, helps change the course of climate change, and uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the final game of today for OLS Season 6. W versus Weekend. We got a good one. Maybe not so good as the first game of the day. Not so, how would you put it? Not so many fireworks, but still we've got a W that seemed to be struggling and a Weekend who seemed to be resurgent. Maybe they only fought Lotus last play day, but still a clean 3-0 for them. More points than they got in the previous season combined. So we'll need to see. I think this one is going to be closer than it looks on paper.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, especially considering the performances of the teams that we have seen on Playday number 1, where W got, well, let's just say absolutely and completely demolished, and Weekend looked pretty okay. So let's see where this one leads us. Nominally, of course, W, the much more accomplished team. W actually the team with the most OLS victories, 3 to their belt, at least some of them, because a little bit of the lineup has changed, of course, over the seasons, but still I think the core could be considered to be there. So let's see how this one goes. Weekend coming in here as well. Last season, it's fair to say, I think it wasn't theirs, unable to pick up a single point, but well, they've already got 3, I believe, this season, so far so good.
Yeah, for the players they have, it was incredible that they didn't even get a single point last season, but they performed well yesterday. W, it was concerning, but bear in mind, they did fight Mafia, who, as we just saw in the previous round, were completely dominant. So,
I mean, Mafia, right now, it looks like they mean business currently when they play.
They're 6-0, and yeah, Io's here, the best player for W, it seems. KD is more important than average damage here. I think on you know, like we saw Lidl's KD the other day, it was 1.7. Io's is 2.1, and making these kills is very, very important. But yeah, specialists in those speedy medium tanks and the Inspire mediums. Yeah, I'm very curious what the map is going to be, and I've got something to say as well when we get to the predictions. I've got some words.
We'll wait for that one then. But yeah, IOS, of course, one of those very, very crucial players for W, as the community predictions coming in, essentially 3/4 for W here. Considering the names, I would tend to agree. Considering what we saw Playday 1, I'm not so sure anymore. I'm still going with W in my prediction as well, I believe. But yeah, Weekend on Playday number 1, clearly showing that they have put the, let's say, horrors of Season 5 behind them.
Yeah, I think we need to bear in mind, right? We've just seen Mafia absolutely dismantle CTR, and W lost to them yesterday. So I think we're being a bit harsh on. Not yet. I need to get that out of my head. So I think we're being a little bit harsh on W. I think they're gonna perform better, and I predicted them to win, but I think it's gonna be a decently closer there. W choosing Sand River. They've played that quite a few times. They played it yesterday. Oh my god, what is wrong with me?
I wasn't going to say anything this time, even.
Oh, please do. Correct me every time.
But yeah, Sand River to kick it off. Weekend choosing Ensk, and we saw Ensk being played by W as well, if I recall correctly, against Mafia, and it didn't look too good, and that's why the scoreline was 3-0 at the end of the day for Mafia there. But yeah, the third map, if we get to it, would be another one of those iconic tiebreaker maps. It is, of course, Cliff this time around. Do we get there, though? That's the question. Whatever happens, whatever happens. I mean, I think both teams should be taking rounds, but W should be taking it with their experience, because they've played offline as well. They've won multiple seasons of OLS. At the end of the day, nothing can really shake them. But also, well, it is best of 5, and W are well known to be a team to go down 0-3, and in a best of 5, then the match is over. But in a best of 7, sometimes they make those crazy kinds of comebacks.
They go down 3 and win 4. I mean, yesterday, the last play day, I don't know what is wrong with me. I've got yesterday on the brain. But the last play day, the Ensks weren't bad, actually. There was potential for W on those Ensks, especially the first one. Just small margins, but the Sand River was concerning, to say the least. But yeah, predictions, you can see. Ooh. So Daki has the same prediction as Ian. But this is the thing, right? What I'm concerned about. W have the most OLS wins. I think they have 3, right? Why are we always underestimating them? Even in the one yesterday, in the last play day against Mafia, we all predicted Mafia to win. So why, when they have won 3 OLSs, are we so hesitant to have confidence in them? And I think it's, as you mentioned, it's the way they play. They can go down 3-0 and win 4-0, win 4-3. They can go down 3 and lose 4-0. So there's a lack of consistency in W's play that just doesn't inspire confidence. That is concerning. Like Mafia may have won less OLSs, but we see them as a more stable and more consistent team.
I think it's the fact as well that W, they arguably have maybe the highest ceiling out of all the teams, but they also have
because you're not restricted
like the lowest
by
floor,
language.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you're not restricted by language when you're an international team, but international teams have always struggled, regardless of 15v15, ever since Fame. There's not been an international team to win a major tournament outside of OLS, of course. But regardless, either way, Sheridan coming out, that's not a dub gun, I'll be upset.
It's not going to be the Sheridan after all. First of all, Tank Bands 432 and STRV respectively, leading to a lineup of 4 Dravci for Weekend, together with double K91 and an RHM.
Yeah, on the W side, a lot of Draviks as well. That's Penta Dravik, 1K91 and a 140. No light tank for them, but it looks like they do have the good spawn that tends to not require a light tank so much. You kind of need a light tank if you're going to play the north, but when you're in the west, the eastern spawn of Sand River, you tend to go K-line. You don't really need the light that much for that. Oh no, actually, W are in the east, and they don't have the light. That's interesting. Double Dravik going south for them. Rest of the team north. Sunshine, gonna spot that crossing. Only Kano able to really punish. IOs will try and take the strike. Ooh, they are making the play.
Interesting move here. Evil immediately has to burn the rep kit. Is going to go on cooldown because he was actually getting tracked. Piotr making the move across, doesn't get tagged anymore by Kano in that K91. Evil has to drive up and over down towards 2K, and W are settling into positions in the middle of the map, even looking to get the double strike immediately. Evil down to 1500, Amarak as well. Remember, the rep kit is still on cooldown for him. Double strike, if Evil takes another shot here, he might as well die.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, W should have taken a lot more damage for that, but actually a play that looked quite risky actually paid off completely in their favor. Evelop will go down here at some point. He cannot stay safe there long term, and regardless, Piotr is going to take that strike. Mentos already took the strike in the middle, so strike not even required, and such an explosive start by W. I really feel like Weekend should have punished that much harder.
Well, Weekend, unfortunately for them, was busy sending teams elsewhere on the map. In the south, Clowns is now trying to face off against Nepal, who is obviously covering Itox. That is taking the 3rd artillery strike. That is 3-0 together with the opening kill for W. They've got it all. They've got everything to play for. But we have seen Sand Rivers earlier today where even that wouldn't have been enough.
I feel like W could close their eyes and still win this game. I mean, they have literally everything going for them. All 3 strikes, all 3 strike control, all the positions on the map. Mentos making a bit of a controversial play here, but he does have backup with one of the Draviks behind him. Paradise Peaks gives him 1, but takes 2 in return. That's Piotr helping his brethren there. In the meantime, we see Clownzik squaring off against the 2. It's just, there's no opening for Weekend right now, and Paradise is being pushed. Weekend's team is trying to converge and to try and support it, but it's going to be too little too late. Piotr and Mentos will pick up this kill unless Mentos bounces this one, but he doesn't bounce these, and yeah, it's just not happening for Weekend in this first round.
I mean, keep in mind, W still have 2 strikes. Finally, they get used. Who on is the question. Sunshine. As it seems like Kano goes down to those. That's a kill off screen together with Clowns on the screen. Sunshine getting found, and this round is just a complete non-starter if your Weekend. Sunshine shut down as well. Ios in the DPM duel against the Dravits that he's probably going to win. So yeah, W finally, the victors of last season of OLS are going to net their first win in this season as well.
It was a bold one by W. I like it. You know, no light tank, making this play. These Draviks bounced a lot of shots on the way in, I noticed, which is not great for Weekend. I'm surprised this went as well as it did. I think there was a mistake. I think by Clownzik and the Dravik who stayed there. I think he was the player. He couldn't escape at that point because I think there was a lucky shot in the move that took his rep kit, and then he couldn't risk leaving because he'd get double tracked. But it's bold by W. I really like it. They you know, it's like this map Sun River, I won all of it. So they went everywhere and they won every part of the map, which is really difficult to do. Because obviously you can get repushed in certain areas. Of course, a lot of that is due to Weekend's opener, but solid by W. Deserved win completely.
Yeah, I think Weekend were so busy reacting to losing one of the tanks in the middle of the map that they completely forgot that the rest also exists. They were so taken up with the predicament that Evil, I think, had gotten himself into that yeah, realistically, they had no way out anymore. They were able to temporarily reset the Northern Strike at the cost of a mini strike for one of the baby strike mediums, which arguably isn't the best of trades either. So, yeah, W with this opener completely stunning Weekend, walking over them, but they need to reconfirm that, obviously. And also keep in mind, it is still W's map pick. So they had a definite game plan coming into this, and at least in game 1, you can't fault them. That was a flawless execution with 7 tanks still alive at the end of the round.
Yeah, that was solid. It's a little bit like the first match of the day between Cashback and Hit and Run. The Hit and Run push on Ruinberg with the T-57s. They do it blind, but sometimes in life you got to take risks. You could run into 7, like there could be 7 Weekend tanks going north, and Mentos and Lukin just explode, but there wasn't, and they managed to catch that Dravik, and because I think Weekend tunnel visioned a little bit, they lost K-Line control as well. But yeah, as you said, need to go into the next one, and they need to confirm it. I mean, what's nice is Weekend W can probably recycle the strat from yesterday, because whatever the plan was
yesterday,
please. What even? I don't even remember what I did in the real world yesterday. In my mind, OLS is just one after another after another. I think because I basically at the moment I'm just playing Onslaught like non-stop. So, but yeah, so in the last play day, stop being mean to me, all right? Don't make me look your. I will anyway. Yeah, moving swiftly on. You take it away.
Well, first of all, talking about the tank bans, Weekend once again, I believe, banning out the STRV, W coming in with the Dravets ban, and this leaves us with the lineups coming out. Weekend picking the MBY CS, double K91, double 430U, and an RHM, so 3 strike medios actually for Weekend.
Yeah, K91's becoming a lot more popular recently with that small strike buff, starting with it. For W's side, Triple BZ. Nice quick boosting lineup. 1 Yo tank, 150M, 140, the Inspire medium, and a 430. No light tank yet again for W. We might see them go into their enemy's face. I'm really curious what they're going to do with Triple BZ from this side.
Well, let's see. First of all, they seem to want to do exactly what W did last round as well with the Dravci, which is just drive into the middle of the map and immediately generate an overmatch. However, they are already spotted Piotr and Mentos, now also Lukin. So W essentially with a copy-paste maneuver from last time. This time around, though, Weekend not making the mistake of sending someone where they can be killed immediately. The bleed on those BZs, I would argue, is not that much, and there is actually a lot of guns that could potentially farm them more. Evil as well on the Overwatch from their own spawn. He is going to be a menace. Trash Panda hull down actually with the better cards against the BZs.
Yeah, but bear in mind, Weekend do have 3 strike mediums, and these BZs sitting together. There's the first strike, 250 on each, that's 750 in total. If they keep sitting at this rock, it's gonna bleed them. Ios goes in the north, but he's completely outclassed. The 430 of Clurf is coming to reinforce, but this is just not going great for W at the moment. They're kind of forced to push into Trash Panda. Lukin doesn't pen his shot. Don't want to say yet again, but it happens, and Lukin gets absolutely deleted for that. Piotr's now pushing in. They're tracing Kano, but these BZs, they wasted a lot of their boosts early in the game, and now they're kind of running out. I think Piotr just used his last one. Mentos might be out already, so Kano gets out. He picks up Piotr on the way, and it's just absolutely collapsing for W. It really is a, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And W trying to do the same thing twice and just getting caught completely.
Yeah, I would say Weekend with a very good adjustment after this first game where they looked like they had absolutely no answer to what was happening this time around. Very aware that a mid-push could be a possibility. I think that's not even the first time that we see this kind of tactic coming out from W. So Weekend have been warned, and they certainly took that warning to heart and are going to equalize the scoreline on W's map pick, no less. And this means after the first map, we're also going to be none the wiser as to who's going to be winning 1-1.
Yeah, first one, W did really well. Second one, I think, doing the same strat.
Oh, Paradise. I mean, he's taking a little nap. The game's
Yeah.
already won. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you know how fish sleep? It kind of looks like that. But, yeah, I mean, Weekend didn't need to try that hard in this one. They just had the K91 set up in the nice positions, and they had enough tanks north to counter anything that W wanted to do. And that's the nice thing about having that light tank. We can get that information early. I'm not sure if they saw the triple BZ with the initial plane. I'm not sure, but if they did, then it obviously telegraphs them, because with BZs on this map, you're forced to make an aggressive play with the boosters. But yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say. Weekend just kind of driving at high DPM mediums, and surprise, surprise, it didn't work out.
I mean, you can also see the damage dealt by the BZs. Not only do they have kind of iffy gun handling, the other problem is that, you know, the DPM isn't there. So you can see Piotr and Lukin with a shot of damage apiece. Mentos, they're getting out 3, I believe. But all in all, it just felt like it wasn't meant to be. And you can see Clownzik, he was even able to block some damage. Trash Panda, same thing for him. And the thing about 430U is if you're not super close, then even in Onslaught, the Cupola becomes super annoying to hit. Especially with those BZs that also don't have the highest of heat pen. And you need the heat against the Cupolas to not fall victim to auto bounces.
Yeah, very true. It was always going to be a difficult one for W. It's the same as the previous game. The first round could have gone this way if Weekend was set up in a similar manner. I think you have a little bit better defensive positions if you push from the other side as opposed to the side that W just pushed. So they're a little bit more in the open, and the northern positions, you can get shot by them a lot more, the triple BC at the rock. But you're gambling. And I don't think it's a smart idea to gamble the same thing that you did in the previous round. I think, you know, it's always a good idea to play aggressive one game, and then in the next game you play a bit more passive. Because you want to try and switch things up. If you go nothing but aggressive, I mean, it worked for Weekend in the past. They had that incredible semi-final run where they played aggressive strategies in every single round. They seemed to win, but this was a long time ago. And
Season 4 to be exact.
Yeah, Season 4. But if you're aggressive every single time, at some point the enemy are going to think, okay, he keeps running at me, why don't I just keep him at arm's length?
But, to be honest, Weekend were able to switch it up here. And they just did to W what some teams did to them in that aforementioned Season 4. Now, however, I think so far so good for Weekend. Because if you're the weaker team on paper, then you're happy with the map split against the opponent's map pick. And now we switch to Ensk, which was picked by W before. We see the E4 ban coming out from W and the Type 5 ban coming out from Weekend. So the meta is going to be pretty interesting moving forward. Weekend leaning heavily into the T57s. It seems 3 of them together with the Mouse, 140, Bliska, and Foshby.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We saw yesterday, the last playday, Mafia versus W. Mafia taking those, we spoke about it, banning the E4 and then taking a bunch of types, kind of countering W style of play. Here, the type and the E4 have been banned, so we're going to see a bit more of a fluid gameplay. 3 tanks spotted in the beginning, Mentos, Itox, and Piotr. Boosting with BZs into the camp on Ensk is a bold one. We haven't really seen that. Triple T57 by Weekend, that's a brutal one, and both teams ignoring the field.
Piotr taking another shot on the cross by Clownzik in that mouse as Jos is already taking the artillery strike away from Weekend. They're not going to have any neutral utility as Clerv coming in with a peek does see a lot of enemy tanks and Hellrap already burning the ability. That means for the next engagement he might not have it. Still 3 shots in the clip, doesn't really know if to reload. The same can be said for Evil. So far actually so good for W that have bled quite a bit on Nepal, but he starts healing up again. And now the question is, how does Weekend react? They have those very explosive T-57s, but they need to come into close range, and I think W is doing a good job of not letting that happen. But Piotr caught in between a rock and a hard place, a mouse behind him, a Bliska in front, and the Bliska even out-reloads the BZ.
Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward one for Weekend at the moment. They do have the better positions, but Piotr's kind of getting caught here. Trash Panda crosses, so Ios will go down at some point. This forces Itox and Mentos off the cap to go in here. Strike goes down. We'll need to see, will Ios be able to kill? Trash Panda does not. Trash Panda goes down in return. Mentos takes so much damage for this. Bear in mind, Clownzik, he looks scary with that 4,000 HP, but they're not going to focus him, and he doesn't have that much DPM. The ball down to a one-shot. Sunshine picks it up. He has 1 shell remaining, so he should be going down here to the tanks of Lukin, Clerf, and Mentos. Lukin picks it up. Clownzik trying to bully Itox, but the HP difference is not that much. Picks up Mentos, though, which is really important. A 4v3 now, and HP in Weekend's favor.
HP in Weekend's favor, and it's about to swing even further. The T-57s once again coming in with the clips. Lukin down to half HP, currently held, was tracked, puts a good shot into the mouse as the Clerf with the Foch is chasing Kano. Does he have enough shells is the question. Lukin aiming at the mouse. Clownzik's HP, they are down, they are dwindling, but Clerf finds Kano in the 140. That's the Inspire medium gone as Clownzik puts another one in towards Itox, who is now on a one-shot against the mouse. Bounces even, and you can see Lukin, he has turned tail. He doesn't even want to support his ally here as Itox drives around the corner but doesn't make it. Clownzik to pick it up, and as the dust settles, we find W with 2 TDs, a Bliska and a Foch B against the 3 tanks of Weekend, and they still have Evil, and he's up to something with those 3,000 HP that he has remaining.
Evil with 3k is the main win condition here. Clerf peeks, tries to give one, but takes one. Yeah, was a little bit lucky early in the game. The T-57 and Bliska bounced on him, but not lucky this time. He will heal a lot of that back. Will not be a one-shot for Clownzik, so might be able to pick this one up if Evilok doesn't give a shot through the gap. Clownzik actually shielding Clerf from Evil. But yeah, Evil does pick that one up. Lukin takes 1, so he's down to a one-shot. He might extend his life a little longer, but match point to Weekend. Now I'm starting to get concerned. Daki's prediction doesn't look this ridiculous anymore.
Don't mention it right now. We're still watching Lukin in the possible, or rather impossible 1v2. No one's one-shot on the team of Weekend. Good shot by Evil to finish it off. And Weekend, the weaker team on paper, do find themselves in a very advantageous position against the reigning champions of W that seemingly have problems adjusting to this banning meta.
Yeah, whatever energy drink Weekend have drank before the matches, I want some. I mean, this is a solid performance and a deserved victory. I thought they were kind of in a worse position. W had the strike. They had the Weekend a little bit boxed in, but you know those T-57s, if you box a T-57 in the corner, it's not that easy. It's like a little honey badger, you know, just 4 of them, pow, 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 20 seconds, reload, and the same again. And Weekend used that to their advantage, which was really fantastic. And they kind of used the mouse as well. It had so much HP just walking around and shooting. Even though it doesn't have the highest DPM, I do think it'll be one of the highest on damage. Yeah, Clownzik with the 7k, he was literally just kind of ignored. 0 block damage. He was just driving and shooting the whole game. But you can really see by W, what's the idea with these BZs? I'm really curious. What's the plan?
The idea with the BZs is that you can drive into the middle quickly and transition into the city quickly. But the problem is, as soon as you're there, especially against the lineup that Weekend had, you find yourself in kind of a bad position because the BZ doesn't really trade that well against the T-57 or the Mouse or the Foch B or the Bliskavitz.
Or anything.
Or anything really in that scenario. So I think W really wanted to create an overmatch in the city with that lineup that they had, like double Fosh B, 60 TP, the CS can quickly come, the Bliskowitz can go into the fray, and then you add and throw, kind of just throw the BZs in there to soak up the shots, whereas the other tanks deal the damage, right? But W saw those T-57s and they saw the Fosh B and the Mouse, for example, and they realized, hey guys, actually, even if we overmatch it, this is not an advantageous fight to take. And so, even though I think W kind of had an okay opening with burning a few abilities from the T-57s, getting a lot of information, maybe that didn't end up working in their favor because they dug too deep, right? They got too much information and then they were afraid to push into this brutal crossfire of the T-57. So it was like damned if you do, damned if you don't territory.
The thing with these BZs, right? When they go to the middle, they take damage. When they cross into the city, they take damage. So they're on about 2k HP by the time they're in the city. And you want them taking shots. And if Weekend opt to play the field, then you've just got two BZs who are not going to really be able to boost anything. So I'm not a fan of the BZ on this map. I think the BZ is such a bad tank. It's literally just walking hit points. You could increase the HP by 2k and remove the gun, and I feel like some people would still play it. Just because it's literally
a possibility, yeah.
I always had a dream about like a support tank. You know, it could place mines that had no gun, 5k HP. You could unflip people with rope. That
Don't listen to him, guys. Don't listen to him. Oh,
do it. I want mines in randoms.
Anyway, Type 5 ban coming out from Weekend W, opting to get rid of the pesky Bliskowitz, leaving us with a 50B double Dravets 140 430U and double E4 for Weekend. On the other side, also double E4, a very popular tank on Ensk, it seems, together with double Fosh B for W and the 140 T57. And is that an IS4 by Itox? Interesting. So W fighting for their lives here already a little bit in the match. Trying to avoid the second defeat in a row here in Phase 1, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and they got no points yesterday. There's a chance they're going to get no points today. I saw one of the medium tanks had optics. I can't remember, it was on the left side of the screen. I was a bit curious, but the screen went away a bit too quickly. But full info for both teams, so we do have parity. If we're looking at pure lineups, it's pretty equal. It's all about how W can use those Foshes, I think.
I think Weekends is easier to execute, but W's has more potential, if that makes sense.
Definitely. No, definitely. If they use these, if they go around the corner with double Fosh and they catch someone, it's game over. It's the same thing that Mafia did to them on the previous playday, with the mouse. So there's
adaptation on the fly.
Exactly. Yeah. No, believe me, the yesterday caught in my throat. But these double Fosh Bs in this kind of scenario, they have so much potential. But yeah, Weekends, it's a bit more versatile with the Dravex. You can side scrape. You've got options. Cap is getting up decently high, but bear in mind, Weekend, obviously, Trash Panda has the strike. So no matter what happens, as long as they can find where Itox is, they will be able to strike him out. Ability gets popped, so the entire team has been spotted. They know where Itox is. Strike comes out. It's a little bit early, and you don't really want to use the strike on the IS4 because it means W can kind of build up their arsenal now. But big play coming in now from Weekend.
Piotr with a good first shot, but obviously the ability means he has no track health, does get double tracked and held. Hellrap doesn't let the opportunity go amiss here, puts the full clip into Piotr, who takes even more damage. Sunshine about to come off reload. I think Piotr wished he hadn't popped that ability, as Sunshine just gets obliterated for the cross. Clownzik, though, to put the final nail in the coffin of Piotr.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage taken by Sunshine that crossing. Bear in mind, Nepal did get actually a little bit slapped, and he didn't have ability. So Nepal now, he's running away on 1000 HP. Hellrap is fully loaded. He'll probably take one. Doesn't take one from Lucian, actually. Klurf is clipping him out, but Mentos and Ios, they're chasing down Clownzik. Clownzik stuck behind that house. Hellrap will give a full clip to Ios, which is really nice. Not a one-shot for Clownzik. Clownzik is Amaract. He's probably not going to be able to get out another shot if Klurf has anything to say about it. But WR on the ropes here. They're getting kind of surrounded. They're in this southern corner of the map, just behind buildings. And HP advantage is on Weekend side right now.
HP advantage on Weekend side, but W have the gun advantage. So let's see how that one goes. Lucan reloading as Nepal falls. Gun parity is what that means. Another strike goes down onto Evil. No damage reduction. Hellwrap about to find out that the P57, yes, it does still reload quicker, even though it has less alpha than the 50B now. Trash Panda finds himself in a fight against 3 Clerf, about to come off reload with the Fosh B and starts chasing the 430U. Ios with a good shot into Trash Panda. He as well, who drives in the building, is not able to get the kill, however, as Mentos peeks, but Clerf picks it up, and W once again with the gun advantage, and this time around with the HP to boot.
Yeah, just a lot of mistakes on the weekend side. Bear in mind, the W did have the gun advantage, but so much of that HP was on Itox, and that small mistake, the T57 clipping and killing the 50B, and just little mistakes by Weekend in the south really cost them. It's not over just yet, but they're trying to eliminate Itox, but Itox is not really the important tank at the moment. That IS-4, it's not a big threat. Lukin does take the strike in the meantime, which can be valuable. Strike goes down on Mentos. See if he can't back away. He can't. He goes down. Paradise peaks. Fosh B of Clerf picks him up. Evil picks up Itox, but he's not that important. The ability, it gets popped, and Evilock doesn't die. We see Clerf. Clerf can't ram him to death because of the Juggernaut ability, giving him better ramming potential. HE connection into the back, and that's non-ability. He doesn't get that back. Evilock does die by Lukin. Evilock will be able to pick up Clerf here. Then it's going to be a 1v1, and that's a 1v1 that favors Lukin.
Well, we'll see. Oh, Evil actually with the fluff against Clerf, and that is tragic for the E4 here. But Lukin coming out as well. He has full info, and I think he also had HE preloaded, so W staying alive in this last match of the day. They are going to make it to tiebreaker, but it was a bumpy road so far for W this season, and this match looks like it's adding a few bumps.
Yeah.
Goosebumps, actually, if you're a W fanboy.
Yeah, that was Weekend's game to lose, and they threw it on the rails with some misplays and bad peaks against Mentos in the T57. I think he's going to have very high damage. Mentos will. I think he was probably the MVP in this round that won them the game, as well as Itox. Itox probably doesn't have that much damage because it's an IS-4, it's low DPM, but he was an anchor, and he lived for a long time there. Yeah, you see Mentos the highest damage. Evelock on nearly 6k in that E4. I'd be kind of cursing some people on my team about how they threw. Sunshine obviously was a bit unlucky. He took all the shots on the crossing, but
I mean, more like Sunset in that situation. He got shut down super hard, but
yeah, but it's an even trade though, because Piotr also basically goes down for minimal. And it was really nice actually what Hellwrap did. He could have just unloaded, but he saved some shots, so he could keep Piotr permatracked while he was in the ability. So that's a nice little thing. You can see the players using that ability, the E4's ability to their own advantage with the track health.
Yeah, I mean, kind of both teams here not with a perfect game. I think a professional caster would call this maybe a scrappy
Scrappy is a good word.
That we just saw. But actually, Weekend did have the side choice now for the tiebreaker, which is going to be Cliff, I believe. And they chose North, which, well, in 15v15 it would be attack, but we are in Onslaught. It is kind of an encounter mode,
yes.
So no advantage in this regard for either team. But yeah, Cliff, we're getting to see it actually.
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, North spawn, you get a little bit better middle, a little bit better hill, but you have a bit worse positions in the donut, and on the red line as well with the sniping position and shooting the approach up to the hill. Going back to that previous one, I feel Weekend really had that in their hands. They had 2 IS-4s locking down almost all of W's team, and as well, big mistakes in that one by I believe it was Clerf in the Fosh, or it was Ios. That he peeked to shoot down the lane, took 2 E4 shots without ability, popped ability after it was done, ran away, and the 140 chased him, and he then did 4 shots to the 140 and died. So that was a massive mistake. Weekend, they're very lucky. Well,
the predictions, man.
Yeah, it's stressful. No,
I think the meme, like, it chuckles. I'm in danger.
Yeah,
that's me right now.
Well, W are very lucky to win that game. To be honest, lucky that Weekend made so many mistakes, but still, it was good play. And going to Cliff now, you take it away.
First of all, tank bans, both teams agreeing on this one. 50B shall not be played, it shall not come to pass. And this means that Weekend now coming in with having to make no compromises because the same tank was banned by either team. Triple BZ75, Dravets, CS 140, and RHM.
Yeah, Sunshine taking HP on his RHM respectively. Double BZ, Bat with low noise, CS 140, 430U, and a RHM also with low noise. Not opting for the HP, so not going for the more fighting lineup. Planes in the beginning, see how many are spotted. Only 2 on the W side. It's a really weak plane by Sunshine. 6 tanks being spotted for Weekend. And on Cliff, the most important seconds in Cliff is the first 30 seconds, because that's where both teams go, and the initial aggressive play when they eventually see each other. So that info by W gives them a pretty big advantage.
Also, there was another plane coming out from Clurf, and he did indeed see Sunshine with it. So now full information available by only one tank. Mentos driving after Sunshine, who has to hide behind the house, but that is a very angry Batchat chasing his way. Kano trying to support, but in the meanwhile, in the middle, the brawl has started. Nepal trying to make it up here. X marks the spot. He starts boosting up, but Hellrap and Paradise not far behind. There is nothing to farm them, really. Yes, a few shots are coming up, and Nepal realizing this is not going to be it. Instead, a smart tactical play. He is going to actually push Hellrap off the mountain, as Paradise is now the next one to take a lot of damage. W looking like they're going to hold on to the hill, as Piotr coming in as well. Paradise getting pushed again, and from the donut rains death from the 140 and the RHM.
So nice, Bannerpaw blocking that hill because he knew he had teammates to farm from behind, and Piotr was already on the way, so that was super, super nice play. Clownsick now taking the hill, but he's getting farmed a bit by Itox. Piotr, he doesn't even care about the hill. He's going to try and eliminate Hellrap down to 56 HP if they get the strike from Clurf. But Piotr doesn't even need it. Jet boosts right into his face to secure it. Evilok goes down. Sunshine already got eliminated on that 1-2, and this was a Cliff masterclass by W, using the plane, seeing 6 tanks upper, so knowing they can make that lower side play onto Sunshine, and the 2 BZs in the middle boosting straight up the hill. Chef's kiss, fantastic.
Absolutely, W coming back into this match after what looked like almost their downfall on Ensk as well. But now W on a victory road as they are starting to close in. Yes, Weekend have finally won the hill, the lighthouse, but at what cost? Well, everything. Weekend are still going to take a point away from this match, however, because they did end up making it to tiebreaker, but for W, I think drama, possibly, and crisis certainly have been avoided.
Yeah, it's not crisis time for W just yet. We're still pretty early. They've now got 2 points on the board. I mean, they won't be as high up on the leaderboard as they want to be, but the most important thing is getting those 2 points. I think they're going to be frustrated that they're not taking the full 3 points, but it's not crisis time just yet, but I'm glad. I'd like it to be well known that my prediction was correct, and it's the only correct prediction, actually. So, but Daki's maybe seeing something going for Weekend. I think Weekend's one to watch, to maybe be up and coming. They might overtake CTR as probably the 5th best team. W also need to watch to see if there might need to be some medicine for them.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the past seasons, there always was this kind of case of, hey, before the season even really starts, you kind of expect who's going to make it into those top 4 positions, and then you end up not really getting surprised. But I think this time around, this season, we could see a little bit of an upset. I mean, Weekend, of course, before has made it into those top 4 and have made it pretty far. 3rd place there, actually. But all in all, I think we might be a lot closer together in the standings, at least when it comes kind of to the middle of the pack, right? But first of all, here are the stats for the last round that has just been played. But to be honest, the damage numbers don't really reflect the high impact gameplay that especially Nepal and then later with the help of Piotr also demonstrated, where not sure if it was FC call, not sure if it was maybe a pre-planned reaction, but Clurf and especially the 140 of W just really coming in clutch with Ios top of the board to be able to shut down this hill approach from Weekend, just make it a non-possibility.
Yeah, we've seen gameplay like this before in last season's OLS. I can't remember what OLS is called for NA, but we saw OLF. It was in the finals. We saw Melly go up the hill with a BZ when the rest of her team went lower, and she wasted a lot of time of the I think it was probably Stacked time or Burbology. I can't remember who lost the final, but we've seen similar gameplay like that before. But it was very, very good. But looking at the standings, this isn't really where we predicted we'd be.
No, I mean, Mafia pretty undisputed at the top. 2 matches, 2 wins, no rounds lost. Followed by their Polish buddies of Hit. Also 2 matches, but actually 3 rounds lost, and that has led to them giving away a point to Weekend. No, it wasn't Weekend, it was CTR. But yeah, Weekend, 3rd place in the standings at the moment, losing today, but only in tiebreaker, and they're still ahead of W. Cashback in 4th, I think kind of coming back a little bit from what happened on day 1, where I believe they lost to Weekend 3-1. Sicarios, starting to struggle a little bit, but still I think place 5 is something that they would be okay with at the end of season. W, I don't think they can be happy with the result so far. And well, CTR and Lotus, the positive thing you can say here is that there is a lot of room for improvement, especially for Lotus. CTR, I think still signs of life, especially during day 1, because, well, today during day 2, Mafia pretty much looked unstoppable.
Well, we need to consider who these teams have fought, right? So Sicarios, they fought Lotus, and they won. And you need to bear in mind, CTR, yeah, their points are bad, but they have fought 2 of the top 4 teams. They've fought who is it?
They've fought place 1 and 2 right now on the leaderboard.
Exactly. So they're probably going to outscale the other teams. Lotus, I think it's crisis time. I think on paper they came into this as the weakest team. Let's call it the Vulgus of World of Tanks, or perhaps the literally clueless of OLS. We could
Throw
say
the shade around.
Oh, it's fine.
Ian probably watching here and be like, Bunter, why'd you have to do me dirty like that?
He keeps beating me in random onslaught, so I need to poke him back.
All right, but anyway, that concludes the 2nd day of the AMD Onslaught Legends Series Season 6. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll be back on Sunday, and the stream on that day is obviously because it is on a weekend. It's going to start 2 hours earlier. Also, today there is a little change up. We're not going to raid Darky. Instead, we're going to raid Freddy, who is a German CC, who is commentating on the OLS as well. But I think as soon as we raid, he'll switch his stream, at least for the day, to English. Please spread the love with him. Of course, the drops are going to be active there as well. And that's going to be all from us for today. Thank you very much, and see you Sunday.
Yeah.